So no time wasted. Barriers down, getting straight into the pistol round here for map number 1, and a bit of a team flash just off the rip.
Not a good start, is it?
Not a great start, but still. Mid is going to be where 100 Thieves are looking to explore, using the Viper Orb just to try and clear out through it. And look at that, even just going quite fast off the rip here.
4 players here.
A lot of players anchoring, and they're wading right into it. There was no push or pull, waiting for it. A lot of the util going missing, but right into the firing line, and it's absolutely flawless.
Well, that was read extremely hard by KRÜ there. They had 4 players ready to receive and destroyed that 100 Thieves B-split attempt. 100 Thieves really, really struggled on their attack side last time we saw them on this map. Stella had his Viper's Pit up for, I think, like half the attacking rounds and just never had an opportunity to use it. And KRÜ already looking like they've put their homework in. They read that play coming through very quickly, as soon as mid was taken.
Desk was making note as well of the way that this the map pool at least has kind of landed with this series. Ascent and Split being the first two maps that both of these teams are no strangers to. Obviously, 100 Thieves have had their woes on this first one of Ascent, but for KRÜ, I think they can find themselves quite fortunate as well that Split is being that second map that was picked by 100 Thieves in some ways.
And 100 Thieves actually have been picking Ascent occasionally too, so yeah. I think they've picked it in one of their series. So in theory, this should mean that we get both of these teams playing at some of their best.
Start over the top wasn't broken there, so Melser feeling the pressure. The Viper Wall giving him a bit of cover. Wading right into it, just trying to jump straight into Melser, cleaning him up, but positioning not really being held for the time being. Cryo afforded a bit of an upgrade, but Cryo getting the or at least keznit getting the confidence back with 4 kills against the Eco.
And this is going to be a Jet head-to-head to really follow. Because if keznit is given any room, he's the kind of player that's going to push to the very limits, and then a lot of the times, beyond the limits.
Yeah.
So 100 Thieves need to be shutting this down early, and keznit will want to be pushing as far as he is possibly given space. Interesting to note so far in the first 2 rounds, Stella has not been using preset Viper walls. He threw them on the fly in the middle of the round. And they were a little unusual, now just goes back to that default B. So Initiator utility to craft space for Cryo to forge his way down mid. No alarm bot here, no turret watching. And instead, KRÜ push out B main. Once more, when that utility is used from the initiators in mid, KRÜ are reading that it could end B, and they're taking some space.
Look at how deep KRÜ are pushing out towards B here. I mean,
what a
great it was being mentioned about the composition that 100 Thieves were playing over and over and over again, but when you lack the killjoy, you would normally have that with your attack side defaults of watching that space. But 100 Thieves have also gained a ton of it themselves. Look at that deep push into mid from them.
This is crazy, though. The 0 point
catch
on
Spike,
B does not find anything. Bang is watching for it.
Oh, and the timing is so important. Bang claims the kill. Klaus is looking the other way, and he expects and anticipates.
Of course he does. I mean, the Sova is not going to be flanking on their own. Bang knows there's got to be more there.
Moves away, though. What is the time to strike here? It's a little bit all over the place. It feels so damn awkward. Players being caught out of position.
30 seconds left.
And that's right and center.
Weirdly, Cryo becomes the lurker, backstabbing, and 100 Thieves are forced into A. It's such a weird round.
This is all over the place, but Cryo is that backstab right now. Waits it out, doesn't get a kill. Dash to the side, trying to survive. keznit low enough, spraying it through. It's not the cleanest in the world, but it does get the job done.
It's a little awkward. Maybe lacking a bit of confidence. Definitely a theme that we'll be returning to, but it's 100 Thieves 3v2 in the post plan. The problem is they don't really know where these players are. DaveeyS with an opportunity.
And a kill found. Now down to that 2-on-2. Nade landing right at the back there of DaveeyS. A double setup towards Hell, dropping down. Melser, there was a flash to accompany it! The util was excellent. The 1-2 punch. Beautiful flash from DaveeyS.
And a fantastically crafted bonus round. That is exactly what the desk is talking about. The fact that 100 Thieves composition on this map leaves holes that teams have exploited. Cloud9 put on a masterclass in exploiting the way that 100 Thieves play. And KRÜ not doing the same thing, but showing us a different weakness in how Cloud9 are playing their attack side. Nobody towards B, read the play perfectly, triple push out, and then also gorgeous utility to win a 2v3 retake. And that is going to hurt 100 Thieves.
Cloud9 on the brain.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's going to really hurt 100 Thieves here, though. Their economy instantly pushed back down. They don't start the ult cycling.
Deep smoke placed there towards Cat. Now keznit looking to try and take a fight down mid, and that is pure confidence, isn't it? Word of the day.
Stella's Viper Orb is really interesting. He was throwing that a few times in the game against Cloud9, but they weren't able to really get value from it. It's cool because it allows you, in theory, to lurk through Cat and try and really pressure this tree area.
Yeah, DaveeyS is left wondering where exactly they could be. He's going to have a 0 point up in a couple of seconds, so that should be able to gather a bit of information, but for now just holding the gun out. Knows that they could have crossed Melser with the re-clear, and the crosshair placement was just good for it. A hard clearance to the side. There was no follow-up in sight. 100 Thieves now left scrambling for a bit of answers here, but they are on the weaker buy anyway. They'll take anything they can get. A couple of kills would be magnificent for them. Flash over the top though. keznit relieving that pressure. 3 in a round. Wants to make it 4. Seems to be fully aware of where Derrek's position is, and yeah, there he does it.
100 Thieves have been going for a lot of these A splits, and this one dealt with very nicely by KRÜ. Of course, weaker weaponry for 100 Thieves, but the way in which they re-clear that area and instantly catch the kill on Cryo. Sure, the round goes very differently if Cryo wins the duel, but it did not look like Cryo was ready for that at all. And I think one of the big things that I'm noticing watching 100 Thieves is just that Cryo's confidence level looks in the tank compared to what we've seen from him in the past. And I think that's going to be a struggle going up against keznit. He's 10-1 right now, and he is going to push. They look like they want some kind of mid-crunch very early.
Wants to take the fight to them. Flash pushing them back as well over the top. 100 Thieves seemed a bit ready for that one. I believe that was Asuna's that was hitting him in his face, so good way to try and dispel that aggression that was going towards them in mid. And a clearance there with the alarm bot.
They've used the Initiator utility mid and drone B main. This feels like it's going to be a B split here. Do 100 Thieves have anything to throw KRÜ off?
So re-clearance into mid here, trying to take the fight to it. Flick to the side, not enough for Cryo. He will be traded eventually.
Reasonable by both teams, though. Getting it down into a 4v4, and 100 Thieves are going to try and split catwalk.
Barreling forwards, Melser's close into the corner. One util to clear, Paranoia wading right through. Melser's still alive, and he claims 3. Rewarded. And they just were not able to clear him out. Stella left with so much to do. And it's insane, just raw individuality is what it feels like at times from these KRÜ rounds, the way they're winning them out. Singular players stepping up in a moment of need.
But also 100 Thieves are not able to stop this kind of stuff from happening. The jump peek from Asuna gives Melser the easiest first kill he could possibly ask for, and then bang swings about 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
So there's no trade on the player that's jump peeking, and also Asuna doesn't even take a duel really to begin with. So it's just the way in which 100 Thieves are trying to get into these spaces makes no sense to me. You think back to how 100 Thieves used to play when we had them up thinking about them being a great team. LCQ, Champions, the Red Bull tournament in the off-season. They looked so tight with each other.
Really well
drilled. The trading looked gorgeous from people like Bang and Derrek. And the way that Asuna and then, you know, Will actually at the time were playing off them, it felt coordinated. And that has been lacking so much from this squad. And I think as soon as it starts to break down, then as a player, you start second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
And it leads to the confidence falling. And then you don't swing and play as aggressive. And when you start to find yourself in a 5-0 deficit to the winless team in VCT Americas, suddenly the confidence difference is massive. KRÜ are going to be feeling like it's their day.
You can feel it in the little plays from 100 Thieves. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, the hesitancy is what I'm noticing as well. Just like what you're talking about with the trading. It's not there. And like you said, Josh, when you're up against the only team that's winless in America so far, they're currently leading 5-0. Yes, admittedly, a center attack side, quite difficult, even for the best teams in the world. But it's not a great start. And so far, you've got to be able to pick up that confidence somehow if you are 100 Thieves.
No major ultimates really on board as well that they can craft a game plan around. That's another thing that where 100 Thieves have had some level of predictability. However, we're looking towards Cryo with a Blade Storm. Could be a difference maker.
Moves forwards, can't get the kill. DaveeyS just using his own fragment nade as well. There was no follow-up there because of that prior util. Used up the paranoia timing. Dash still active for keznit, but no fight to be taken anytime soon. The dart not being cleared, right into the smoke. It's picking them apart. And they just cannot withstand it. It's flawless once more from KRÜ. 6-0. An absolutely dominant lead.
And KRÜ are definitely favored on this side of Ascent. Their attack side in the past has looked fairly weak. Not as weak as 100 Thieves, I would say, but definitely not the greatest. So, question becomes, how many rounds do 100 Thieves need on their attack side here? And I would be saying minimum 3 plus pistol, right? Absolute minimum. They've still got chances, but that means they need to win half of the next rounds coming up. And KRÜ are gonna keep trying to put the foot on the throat, make sure that cannot happen.
Snake bite used early on there just to try and threaten that they could be taking control of A or just to push them away.
More aggression in B main, and this kind of thing is going to be tough for 100 Thieves to deal with. There are 2 players, Stellar and Derrek, 1 orb away from being able to get their ults online. Derrek's been forced to use his drone from so far back. And look how active KRÜ are. They flushed out B main early. Now, there's still more than a minute on the clock, and they've taken mid. Or at least pushed people up close.
They've given up a lot of the extremities to do so. Heavy group towards mid. Is it going to be spotted out? It's all about that timing. And guess what? Missed once more for 100 Thieves. Flash to try and help keznit get out of there. But KRÜ's going to see if he can do any sort of damage. But it's a little bit tempered now. Any aggression that was planned has been stopped in its tracks. And look at that with the dash active. There's no value to be gained from it. Doubled up setup of Melser. NagZ pushing all the way through. keznit just... the man's just untested in mid. Eventually will fall, but guess what? Klaus is also going to be there to pick up any sort of potential pieces. And Derrek doesn't know where to look. The Viper's been dropped down. It feels like pure desperation. With 20 seconds left in the round, what more can you really play for here? And it's just the angle being spammed.
Everything working perfectly there for KRÜ. They flush out B main. They make Derrek so scared he has to use his drone from basically spawn, and then they go and pressure mid, and every player that wanted a piece of that fight in mid got something out of it.
Yeah.
100 Thieves weren't able to flush them out. KRÜ aren't scared at all. And like I said, they're going to limit test. When they realize that 100 Thieves are not putting up any resistance, they are going to limit test. I mean, this looks like a 13-0, you know, Eccles getting dropped kind of moment.
God. Need no reminders of that one. It's damage through the wall. Look at that one. Odin spam! Stella's almost going down from it. Now they want to pop into B, straight through keznit. How's he managed that one? Just tracking perfectly. Heard Cryo dash towards the switch. Knew where to be spamming it through. It's up to Bang. What more can he do? Drop down onto the side. 1 kill. Second one found. Still alive in the action. Derrek's got his back. Maybe this is what they need to try and get back into this one. But immediately, look at that, flooding straight through. And the spike, no chance in hell of that one going down. Bang, 26 health. Got to do so much in the moment. Down to that one-on-one. Goes to the side with a fragment nade. Needs to kill. Found! And he's done it! My word, they needed that.
An absolute hero play from Bang when they needed it most. Like, backs against the wall, Bang, with nobody really to play off, just leaps into sight and finds them 4 kills in the scrappiest manner possible. He has been the best player for 100 Thieves. This very young guy keeping his head in a moment where everything is going wrong. And now 100 Thieves take a timeout. Their second one of the map already.
In the first half, which I think is quite telling.
Yeah.
Quite telling about the current state of the team. Something's been spotted here. Something's going wrong.
I mean, yeah, but what do you focus on? What's the biggest issue here to get them across the line? Even the way that Bang wins that, it's not a really drilled site exit where everybody's playing perfectly and he gets the kills off the util. It's scrappy.
I think they're rushing into things. I think when they try and play slow, there's pieces missing. There's hesitancy in terms of how they're trading and playing with each other. There's too many gaps in the play.
Another thing that 100 Thieves will be discussing here potentially is how to use their ultimates to win the next round. There are none on board for KRÜ, and Derrek has his Hunter's Fury, Asuna has the Null Command. Now, Derrek has been punished going for these a gelato Hunter's Furies. You saw Sean break down a play earlier where he's been using it from that point, and Cloud9 just got the read because he used it twice in their attacking half. So I would expect Derrek to switch it up a little bit here. Asuna has been a bit varied in terms of how he's been setting up that ult play, but you know, from what we can see, it looks like they're going for a fairly default, just hard B hit with Derrek ulting from tiles.
So that heavy group up. Close up there with a knife, but disrespect immediately shown. keznit's getting away with murder, potentially the Hunter's Fury. That's his time to strike. Coverage, though. Okay, pushing him back, but bang! No way! DaveeyS is there to return the fire. Bang was just trying to follow up on it with all that aggression, but they have managed to at least make their way into the site, but they have to deal with the back of it. The players anchoring. NagZ still there, ready and waiting, maintaining, holding. Flash into the face of Cryo from every single angle. He just can't do anything. KRÜ overwhelming them.
Yeah, Bang maybe fired up by that 4K in the previous round, chooses to try and take a fight thinking it's punishable, doesn't realize that there's two players there, I think. Maybe gets a bit unfortunate, but also overstepped, I think, a little. And then also once 100 Thieves path into the site, it's Cryo trying to hold off the rotators instead of helping his team get deep into the site. So people are playing strange roles based on where you would expect them to be, and KRÜ just tear it to pieces. Look how aggressive keznit is in those kind of moments. He looked like he wanted to run Derrek down.
Cover going out.
And it's that limit testing. When you're not punishing those openings that KRÜ are affording by playing that aggressive. Okay. The spam there just from the Sheriffs, knocking him down to 5 health, moving away through mid.
keznit is just following every piece of utility. Oh, you're using Initiator utility in mid? Oh, I'm gonna run and try and get the kills on you.
He's a scary player when you're up against him, and he's got his confidence up early. Can be hot or cold at times, and sometimes even just overheating, but
he's currently 16 and 3, I think.
Exactly.
And he's got 5 health, and I think he's still going to try and find kills.
And when he feels like he can fight every single battle, every single duel, and win it out, he's going to take those fights, even against the weaker guns. Not worried about it, but there we go. Maybe a mistake opened up for it. So, rifle dropped all the way to the back, probably not retrievable. And a flood instead, straight through into market. Backs away to the site, still anchoring in these positions. Klaus returning forward. Paranoia is good. It's going to be blinding all of them, but there's a one-way in all of their faces, and nobody can really scale up. There was a snake bite. Their own, in fact, at their feet still. Swarming the site. A couple of upgrades with the rifles now and the weapons, but the spike has to go down, and it will do just that.
30 seconds left.
And this round looking massively winnable. That flash combo from Asuna and Bang made a lot of difference, even though there was a mistake with the snake bite. Can DaveeyS and Melser get in here? Both flashes and Paranoia still available.
Tons of use still available. In fact, DaveeyS could use absolutely everything here and get a lot of value. Fragment nade against the box. That's going to push the common position out as Cryo has to adjust. Flash into the back of the site, but there was no second peek by Melser. Couldn't quite find his way in there, and at this point just opting most likely into saving. Has to be the percentage play. It does mean 100 Thieves will be claiming this round eventually. They'd love to get another rifle out of the hands of Melser for it, and they will do just that. So, 2 on the board. Josh, you said 3 in a pistol, maybe winnable, maybe doable.
I mean, that's the bare minimum, I think, and 100 Thieves might just be clawing their way there. We had that comment when they were down 7-0, and I said that they needed to win half of the 6-0, and they needed to win half of the upcoming rounds. That's exactly what they've done so far. Lost 1-1-1, lost 1-1-1. And this particularly being a thrifty.
This is a massive turning point.
It could be, and in fact for 100 Thieves it has to be. keznit has now picked up an operator, and we're heading into this next round with keznit trying to get some space over in B main.
KRÜ have been playing incredibly grouped up. keznit's been supported usually with a lot of the utility from both the initiators. This has been just heavy how they're playing the defensive protocols on this defense side.
It is really strange to see Derrek being the player controlling B main rather than using his Sova utility for them to take space, but this drone is just supposed to be a bit of a fake and open up space on Cat. There's still 2 players here.
Yeah, spamming the common positions there through the smoke, hoping for an easy kill. Cheap one of that. No clearance, though, of all of that util, and look at the way it's delaying them.
They're so much damage.
Corralled into the corner. Chunk down. Bang on 60 health moving forwards. Spike, it's so precarious. Look, no confidence in the way they're taking this one, but now 100's Fury to try and disrupt this plan. Derrek's looking this way, that way, doesn't know which way to look. And now will the fight be taken by KRÜ? It's that 4v5, a slight advantage, more utility being used, chucked up to the top side of heaven there with a fragment nade. Pushes them back for but a moment.
This is where big plays potentially need to be made in the 4v5. Cryo looking for anything. Bang has an ult potentially to reposition. The flash not comboed with the peak, but just to kind of keep KRÜ back.
Paranoia is good though. Things all the way through, drops down, NagZ right in their face, Bang. Has to hold it down, has to hold the line. As the players are swarming the position, everything's known, drops down, angle wants for it's a one-on-one. Stella versus DaveeyS. 100 Thieves need to win this one. Time pressure placed onto DaveeyS' shoulders. Doesn't get but he wins the fight regardless. Enough time in the end, potentially stands right down to the wire, 0.49.
And a great play by DaveeyS.
Last round before the switch.
Everybody's looking towards KRÜ, expecting the big names of keznit and Melser to be their highest performers, and they have been in the map so far. But DaveeyS is sneakily good. And he's excellent in those kind of positions. He looked very precise with that kill in hell and then plays the clutch 1v1 beautifully. Forcing the peek out of Stella and punishing for it. And now, I think this is it. If 100 Thieves don't win this round, I don't see a way back. And even if they do, it's going to be tough. What a wide swing!
Yeah, first duel taken, first fight taken, and he does get rewarded. I know to push them back away once more. Okay, evened out a little bit now into that 4v4. They look like they want to rush right into this one, into that B-split again, but these anchoring players of KRÜ are making it a nightmare. There was a TP being used. They are really just falling apart.
Wait, that's actually a crazy play.
All the way through, player cleaned up, just down to NagZ now.
Bang ulted into the front site, and everybody on KRÜ thought he was in back B.
Yeah, they were using util.
They were using util, they turned their eyes, and NagZ is left in an unwinnable spot. Bang's just played the mind games to get 100 Thieves to 3, and might have given them the slimmest lifeline to hold on.
3 rounds is what they've gained, and now we move over and swap the sides around as well. KRÜ's attack side on Ascent. In the past, it hasn't looked as good, but we'll find out what our analysts have to say as well as they break down that first half.
Thank you very much, Brent and Josh. A little bit of first half dominance there out of KRÜ, 93. Though I will say, they did what Josh asked of them once they were down 6-0, right, in the half. He said, get half of the rounds here, pistol in the next half, and maybe 100 Thieves still has some life.
Yeah, maybe. They managed to recover this to a doable half, but we were still seeing so many of the issues that we were talking about in the pre-show rearing their head again for 100 Thieves. In these mid-rounds, they were leaving gaps. The coordination wasn't quite on point, and on the other side, KRÜ saw each of those gaps and feasted. keznit and Melser were going insane that half.
Yeah, keznit actually was just popping off. He didn't look like any player in this server was scared, was anyone gonna challenge him at any given time this half. He just dominated 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves, like you mentioned, their mid-rounds, very lacking, right? They weren't drawing out utility, so when they finally pounced on the sites, they were just getting util dumped on them, and keznit coming and cleaning it all up.
Yeah, and even the rounds they were winning, it felt like they were playing it from that disadvantageous position where they were taking damage from the util. Well, KRÜ was set up to win, but someone like Bang, occasionally, maybe Cryo, would find a couple big kills to keep them in it. None of the rounds they won really gave me much confidence for 100 Thieves.
I think the only one that would have been that eco round that they won, right?
Sure.
They had, on B, they had to dump a couple ults to make it happen, but you're exactly right. The other two felt like individual, outperformances by Bay.
Still, 9-3's doable. If they can get this pistol round, maybe they can get things rolling. In their last match, they almost brought back Ascent versus C9 on defense. Their retakes are really strong with this Viper comp.
Yeah, and KRÜ has historically struggled on this attack half. We sound like we're coping a lot here, but KRÜ can run into a wall. This is the defensive side of Ascent, but 100 Thieves is lacking that sentinel, which is what I said in the pregame. Nothing in middle.
I'm looking for keznit to keep up his pace on this attacking side. He really struggled last time.
But the reality of Valorant is if you get 9-3, you can 9-3 on the other side, and that's what 100 Thieves needs to do, +1 to get the dub. We're getting that second half underway, so back over to Brendan Sideshow for the call.
It's up to 100 Thieves to claim that pistol round like the desk was hammering home, and there is reason as well to believe that they could potentially mount a bit of a comeback. KRÜ haven't looked the best on their attack side of Ascent in the past, yet what an uphill battle it's going to be.
I think this pistol round is actually a big one for KRÜ to win. Just don't even give 100 Thieves an inch here.
Fast, paranoia. Lovely knife though, pushed them all the way back, and that is great spam damage. They're being forced all the way back from that one. Dropped down to 15 health, no kill claim, but it is a herd of elephants just stomping their way through mid, trying to make their way all the way through. Look at this deep push through A main as well. It's been covered from many angles, and the 100 Thieves have really surrounded almost every position, but they've lacked a lot of that info in mid. They've given up the space now, and look at this. Ring around the roses, KRÜ just running rings around their opponents. Derrek has to be the man of the hour now, anchoring at the back of the site. Stalwart defender. Knows is being approached from this position now. Dropped down onto the corner. One shot found. Will he claim the second one? It's that jumping right click. Klaus ends up being favored in it.
Ahead.
3v3, plant goes down. Nobody scanned by the dart that Klaus sent out, as DaveeyS was looking to play aggressive. So this is as straight up as it gets in the retake.
Still a paranoia available for Bang. This could be a massive tool to use. Cleaves all the way through into the site. 2 players watched out for. Kills need to be found. No, kills need to be found. How does that happen? DaveeyS working magic with the frenzy. And NagZ with the safest hands in the world, managing to close that one out. So the pistol does not go 100 Thieves' way.
Another huge moment from DaveeyS just to shut the door in 100 Thieves' face. This is going to be a dominant map by the look of things. I mean, 100 Thieves are not on the attack side. They don't get the plant money. What can they force with? They don't even have that much. So KRÜ are looking very, very good here. The issues that had previously reared their heads, I don't think are even going to matter because they're so close to the finish line.
3 rounds, it's all that stands between them and winning this opening map.
And let's talk about things again here. KRÜ, winless, are going to be feeling incredible. You heard it from DaveeyS earlier. As soon as they get that first win, he felt like all of their confidence issues would seep away. That the team would have a feel of what it's like to win on this stage.
And they're hungry for it.
Very much
Being
so.
winless, I mean, you look at their upcoming record or in terms of their matches as well. They're going up against teams like NRG, Loud, Leviathan, Sentinels, Cloud9. This is their best shot to try and get that win. 100 Thieves. Nice response from them. Their own half by.
Yeah, this could now get a
player advantage.
This could get dangerous now. It's not like there's any weapon upgrades, but there's still 4 sheriffs that they're up against.
It might have to be that individuality popping off now.
It's another really nice mid-round call. Just like the pistol where KRÜ faked catwalk and went back to B. This time
30
they
seconds
cut
left.
noise, re-hit. And 100 Thieves have been baited into the rotate both times.
And they contact all the way through. Nobody to meet them. Stella playing a very passive position, but now he's going to be hearing them charging all the way up to the back of the A site. Plan's going to start to go down here. Seconds to spare, placing themselves into this post plant. What utility do they really have to try and play this retake? A dart's online. I'm still with the dash enabled as well. Flash over the top. That was DaveeyS, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
The team flash. Snake bite at their feet now as well. Dart needs to be taken care of. Indeed it is, but it scans close. Is it going to be spammed there? Melser rattling off the shots. There's no answer in sight. Estella on 11 health. So much to do. Not enough resources at his disposal.
100 Thieves simply weren't able to take advantage of that dart. They got one scan off. There was certainly chances. They all had sheriffs, but KRÜ survive. And with only 2 rounds needed to lock up this first map, an enormous advantage for the LATAM team hunting for their first win. And I think this is devastating for 100 Thieves, not just because they wanted a competitive game to begin here, but also because they needed to show us more than this in order for people to regain hope that they could be what was expected of them.
Yeah. A lot of criticism leveled at them regarding the team play, the compositions they've been playing on some of these maps, the ideas as well being a little bit too one-dimensional. We needed to see a good start in this series.
And you think about the way that 100 Thieves absolutely dominated EG and how close the EG KRÜ game was. There was reason to believe that 100 Thieves might come out and have a somewhat simple one here? Certainly has not been the case.
Now, and credit to KRÜ, I think that they have read a lot of the weaknesses of the way that 100 Thieves comms works.
Yep.
A lot of heavy flanks, a lot of emphasis on contact pushes because they know there's no killjoy util to catch them.
And KRÜ are also just abusing the middle of the map right now. Like you said, no killjoy utility, no alarm bot. And 100 Thieves are really going to struggle to regain information in this area. Derrek has no utility. He can't re-drone this spot and see whether they're there.
Time running low though, down to 30 seconds in this round, and this setup
30 seconds
with a crossfire. No command ripping its way across here. DaveeyS, no abilities to be used to try and push this one back. Dart taken care of though, pushing forwards. No one clears a corner! And Asuna's there, bang to follow up. Lovely confidence peak there from Klaus. It's a great return on the fire. Damage! Oh! Hello? Easiest shots in the
10
world, just being
seconds
missed there. The player's just not looking for him. Derrek, they pushing him wide. Close together, needs to win this fight out. Damage is done to DaveeyS, but he doesn't fall. Tagged. Has to take a wider swing, has to take a wider fight. Down to the side. They are weak. Stella manages to go away. The adjustments, absolutely necessary. 3 in a round, and that's a round win.
Clutch.
They're going to need a lot more of those. That is a sloppy one. So many situations that could have gone in a completely different direction. KRÜ not clearing that close switch position. Cryo missing a really quite a simple kill on Melser, who looked absolutely oblivious to the fact that there was a player genning. And then Stella with a gorgeous flick towards the end to win that 1v3, I believe. The economy's still doing well though for KRÜ. In theory, that really was a bonus round, despite how good the weaponry was.
Shut them down. Flashbang.
Got to focus on that one round at a time. KRÜ, lots more opportunities to try and close this one. And again, look at that heavy presence towards mid. Door gets closed, but they immediately break it, wasting no time. We're in the first 20 seconds of the round. They're just disrespecting the middle area of this map.
And 100 Thieves also on the defense are somewhat passive, actually. They don't tend to try and take control of the tempo. Cryo is naturally a bit of a safer jet player. Rather than being very aggressive, someone like keznit.
Asuna feels pressured here.
Yeah, double up, bang, Asuna. They've got to deal with Melser here and hold on to A main if they have any chance of repelling the push.
Paranoid close, Asuna. Not really aware if there's any sort of crossed up, but a TP up to the high ground position. Angles watched for. Okay, A main control still theirs, but guess what? KRÜ have taken control of the back of the site, and this re-flank of NagZ.
I mean, the recon dart goes into B main because they think that's where NagZ lurk might be. NagZ is already so far ahead.
Oh, and this timing here. I'm gonna get too much fun because the entirety of 100 Thieves is grouped up. Reflash round the side, spraying it down. keznit's still in hell, still causing problems for them. It's got to be clean now. Try and take these fights accurately. NagZ as well, just being that backstab element all the way behind him. No, one is wise to it. Down to the one-on-one. Cryo. Not planted safely, can't quite stick it on it. Tries to win the fight. It's NagZ that secures the round.
And it gets them up to map point.
Match point.
NagZ on the monstrous lurk all the way through B. Evading that recon dart, slipping the net, and coming through towards the back. I can't help but think as well that you see Cryo win those most of the time last year.
Yeah. You really do.
It's been quite the fall from grace watching this 100 Thieves team, but that gives such great opportunities to teams like KRÜ to capitalize. And my oh my, they certainly have done here. Okay, Stella going for the same ult that he has done pretty much every time he has a Viper's Pit online on the defense, but no counterplay from KRÜ as yet. That's going to allow 100 Thieves, now that the pit is down, to go and stack a bit more towards the B side. Still no attention paid towards mid, no attempt at a crunch, no aggression there really, but the weaponry is so poor. KRÜ are set up for the slam dunk finish.
It's all or nothing for 100 Thieves in this round. Only one rifle in the hands of Derrek.
Enemy mark.
KRÜ are creeping ever closer now to that map win. Taking control steadily there, moving their way up towards Cat. The kill needs to be found, guess what? Weapon's not too good for it. No command now, just gonna be ripping through them. That's Asuna's just to make sure to deny this, but look at this contact.
Here.
all the way up, not making any noise, and it's a double face, a double swing. Maybe with a better gun, there could have been opportunities to be there, found, but still taking all the space in the world. keznit leading the charge of the rest of his team.
NagZ on the lurk, perfect. Melser uses his ult, in fact, to avoid the Viper's pit, and Stella has been completely circumvented.
And it just feels inevitable, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It has been a gorgeous performance today from KRÜ, an absolute dismantling of what 100 Thieves have brought to the table. Running the same comp, and Stella on the Viper, left with a judge in hand.
Judge in hand, it's an impossible scenario. The Hunter's Fury committed to know exactly where he is. And for KRÜ, this has been momentous. Great beginning to their series, and with that one finalized, wrapping it up 13-4 being the scoreline. They are paving the way to a dominant beginning in this series.
One of the most one-sided maps that we've seen in VCT Americas. No hope for 100 Thieves there whatsoever. No signs of life. All KRÜ. And if keznit and Melser don't have anybody putting up any kind of resistance, they are going to continue to run over the competition as we head deeper into this series. keznit still on Jet, normally on Split. They're running double duelist a lot of the time on Split. keznit and DaveeyS, they might just have a field day today. And what a way this would be to get KRÜ their first win. Not just a scrape-through battle against somebody else that's at the bottom of the pack, but an emphatic, decisive statement victory over one of the North American hopefuls who has flown too close to the sun and is currently, I mean, those wax wings are melting fast.
At a rapid rate, honestly. It might seem like we're being harsh, but bit of a dismal opening here for 100 Thieves when we were hoping for a little bit more. But for KRÜ, clearly doing their research, knew exactly the weaknesses of the composition they were up against, and now heading into perhaps even more favorable ground as we look forward towards Split. But that's going to do it for map number 1. We're stepping away for a bit, but we'll see you just after this.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable.
True.
He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas. It was utter dominance out of KRÜ here in map number 1 against 100 Thieves. All I'm saying is, it's happening. Let's go. Come on. Hey, I left you guys some presents, too, in case you want to get in on the Croupium with me.
I'm going to be real. I'm starting to become a believer. I mean,
No,
100
don't
Thieves
do
had
it.
a lot of issues, but KRÜ did a great job of
You're leaving?
How could you not? How could you not be after that map, Sean?
I
How
don't think
could you
they're-
not be?
I don't think they're going to be the best team in the league, but I think they're going to win this series. Like, come on, Sean.
Split?
100 Thieves looked so rough
Okay,
on that map.
before we get to split, because I think there will be many valid points as to how 100 Thieves can come back, let's just talk a little bit about how KRÜ was able to mount this level of
was taking space. They punished the fact that 100 Thieves had no Sentinel by capitalizing on every gap that was given to them, and that built so much confidence that you could see in the gameplay and in their reactions.
Yeah, I mean, they capitalized on the no central. They had their game plan coming into this map. On defense, they were aggressing. They were behind them. Even on the opening bonus, they're triple flanking A main. I mean, they were just all over on their attack half. They were stalling out in mid so well. 100 Thieves never had any idea where they were going.
Yeah, Mimi, we had those interviews with the players coming into the matchup where they talked about the importance of getting that map win and the confidence reinstilled. We saw it on their faces there. Confidence is back. But you mentioned a few very crucial rounds that KRÜ was able to find and kind of attack the weaknesses and the openings within 100 Thieves' game plans from the attacking half. Let's dive into those. I think we got rounds 3 and round 7.
For 100 Thieves, with this Viper composition, their attack side strategy is kind of different than some other teams have done. It's a lot of like kind of early pressure mid, try and fake presence there, and then go back and late 5 re-hit these sites. The thing is, in the mid rounds, they weren't baiting out utility. They weren't shutting down aggression from the other side, which are echoes of the Cloud9 series. It was the same issues they were falling into, and KRÜ punished it every time.
They just knew exactly what to do whenever their initiators picked up util. This is the 7th round that you were talking about, and this is a problem that was honestly on 100 Thieves in the LCQ run that when I was coaching the team. That smoke fading in mid because the timings are off and no one picks up clearing that angle. It happened when we played FaZe, and it's heartbreaking to see it happen again because I know that they know better.
Right.
And these are a lot of little mental mistakes that are just piling up on the 100 Thieves side. And I'm afraid it's just honestly slipping through their fingers and it's in their mental now.
Yeah, the site execs as well were always falling apart. It was the same thing where Cryo would try and dash in, and someone like NagZ or Melser would find a gap on the site, be able to anchor, get 1 or 2. And then when things got chaotic, 100 Thieves showed issues initially, but it felt like it snowballed once that chaos started going, and they never really had a recovery. We were talking about this, but like every round they won was a clutch or a one-off that they probably shouldn't have.
I love the name drop of Melser, too, because we knew Keznit, right, is an absolute superstar, especially when he's feeling himself on the day, and he put up big numbers. Melser was just behind him there on the scoreboard. But another player who is crucial to victory is going to be in our aim lab shoot around. It's DaveeyS. He came up with a massive clutch on that defensive side as well to keep that level of dominance for the team going.
But not just clutch, util.
Yeah.
He had knife lineups that were really sniffing out what 100 Thieves like to do. Mimi said their mid-rounds were lacking. Well, it's because of someone like DaveeyS who was getting the info for KRÜ that whole time. I mean, the bonus, flanking A main and pop flashing both players hell to win the bonus to open up the game. I'm just so impressed with his util.
DaveeyS has been so impressive on this team consistently with the util usage, but also his flexibility. Heading into split, we're going to see him play on the Raze, and he's fantastic on that role as well. I think the addition to him into this KRÜ roster has added a lot to them. And while they've been struggling thus far, he's oftentimes been a bright spot for this team.
He's also clearly got a strong mental because anyone who voluntarily dives into that training method, that one pisses me off more than any of them, man, just because of the way it's coded to run away from you. So I'm like, look, you're doing that before a stage game? All right, props to you and your mental. All right, map number 2, though, Sean, because let's talk about maybe 100 Thieves' way back into this series. We are going to split for them to try and get it done.
Yeah, and this is a map where I know 100 Thieves has a lot of ideas, right? They've run through so many different comps over the iteration of this roster that they're very flexible, actually. They could play an Astra, they could play an Omen, they could play Cypher or Killjoy, they could play Sage or not play Sage. So there's a lot of options for 100 Thieves, and they've looked good here in this split, particularly against Sentinels.
Yeah, their game plan was sound in that matchup. On their attacking side, they found a lot of good value with the Sage Roll, using it to block off Heaven on some of these executes. And on the defense side as well, they had really good stall utility, combining Asuna's Raze with those slow orbs, with the util from the rest of the players on the team as well, and shutting down. This is one where, when I've watched their Ascent, I haven't really seen the idea. They tried to innovate with kind of a new comp that not many people are playing. On this one, they're playing a comp that a lot of people play, that they are drilled on, that they actually have some creative ideas and some set plays on. So there's some confidence for me that 100 Thieves will at least play a closer game, but I don't know if they're just boomed after map number 1.
I think this map will feel a lot better for them because of the fact that they're likely going to have Sentinels on their team, right? And I mean, this is something that we struggled with when I was on 100 Thieves and why we ran a lot of Sages, is those defensive rotations. It's a struggle point for this 100 Thieves roster, and I think that's solved by how they play split and the comps they use.
To talk about KRÜ, though, this team is running that double dive composition. They played a super close game versus Furia. Did a very good job of punishing that weird chamber composition that they were running. I felt like, well, you can watch it and think, oh, it's double duelist, they're just running it down. The ideas were sound, the coordination was good. It was similar to the talking points we had on map number 1, as already we see DaveeyS going back to the race.
I was about to say, right on cue, DaveeyS locking in that duelist, so shifting over from the KO onto the Raze. There's the Astra on the other side, which you had called out there, Sean.
And that makes me think we're gonna get this double duelist again out of KRÜ, and these duelists are kind of popping off. Like, keznit is having a really, really good series right now, especially on these defensive halves that throughout this whole split, his defensive halves have been unreal, actually. So can he be aggressive enough on defense in a double duelist comp against the comp that 100 Thieves is running? It's going to be hard.
Rightfully so, a lot of the conversation for this 100 Thieves squad has been around Cryo, playing the Jet, the duelist. What can he do? This is a map where it's going to be about Asuna. I expect him to lock into that Raze role. He's looked really good when they've allowed him to flex over and play on that one. And I felt that that Cryo was good on the Sage as well. I am a lot bigger fan of what this team has prepped here.
So Sentinel pick comes in there for 100 Thieves, a second one as well. So Cryo jumping towards that Sage alongside the rest of the squad. Final pick here for NagZ, and it will be the Viper to round things out for the team.
I think Cypher's a good choice up against this double duelist comp. Raze can circumvent it with those blast packs, but you will force them to slow down sometimes, to be breaking that trip in vents, to be being careful with these executes with the Jet dashing in as well.
You like what you see, Sean?
I do like what I see, and I think the sight hits from KRÜ are they're going to struggle against this double Sentinel comp. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. The double duels are going to want to go on sites.
Yeah, I think it's going to put a lot of pressure onto KRÜ's attacking half, considering that they're fighting into 2 Sentinels, as you mentioned. Well, KRÜ can get their first series win on the board if they wrap it up all right here on our second map. For 100 Thieves, they've got to extend us to a third as we hand it back over to Brennan Sideshow for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash. Yeah, maybe some hope is out there as well for 100 Thieves. Maybe they can do it as well, but I'm not even looking at the compositions, Josh. I'm not looking at the set strategies. You know, we know that 100 Thieves have a lot prepped on the split. They picked this map for a reason, but I just need to see a return to some of that confidence. We know that this team can play at higher peaks, and it just was missing on Ascent. It was missing.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct, but at the same time, KRÜ, they're going to limit test, and 100 Thieves have to be ready for that. I think also 100 Thieves have been running some of the same kind of strategies, same kind of pistol rounds, alt execs, that kind of thing. How well do KRÜ understand what 100 Thieves goals are going to be? Now, one classic pistol round that 100 Thieves ran before, they took A ramp quickly, they used Cryo's wall to block off vents, they take A heaven, spill into the A site. I'm looking at Asuna and Cryo over there towards A, wondering if it might be something a little similar.
Speaking of limit testing, right off the rip, look at this. It's a Viper wall in their face. Klaus holding a close corner, he has a flash in his hands, but they just want to hold this, and the angles contacting all the way deep, and everything comes down to the fight. Well, guess what? Trailblazer meeting it! Headshot was found, but no kill claimed, and oh, in the blink of an eye, it all falls down. Still flashed up to the side there. There was an attempt from Stella to try and relieve that pressure. He's reflanking through into mid, but they dropped the spike into very unfavorable territory, and with 6 health, like a lost pistol round once more here. KRÜ, they are going to limit test. They are going to push. They're going to take those risks and take those fights.
We were watching this pistol round from Derrek's perspective as well, as he just sees it all fall apart. But for the rest of 100 Thieves, for Cryo, for Asuna, they did go up A ramp, but instead of taking heaven control and walling off vents, they tried to wrap through vents and pinch the players in mid. And that was a preset pistol round idea. That wasn't a reaction based on Derrek seeing anything in mid. They did not know how many people they were running into. And this nade destroyed them. DaveeyS nade that he just turns around and throws, it keeps everybody on 100 Thieves grouped up in that small vents room. And they were not expecting to run into 4. That pistol round is designed to crunch 1, 2 players in mid. And KRÜ, once again, dismantling the idea that 100 Thieves throw out.
Blinded.
We're off to a good lead, but slow beginning now to this one. Just steadily taking that B main control. Possible goal here to farm up the orbs as well. Try and get some of those key ultimates online. The space is given, which looks like it is for now, but camera's spotting that out, so broken.
And you would expect KRÜ's composition to be playing quite aggressive on the defensive side. They've got double duelists, they've got a Sky, going to be looking for info over towards A ramp. Like, this is a very standard defensive setup for a comp that works like this. So 100 Thieves, you might see them just holding calmly, slowly for the first 40 seconds and seeing if they can find a pick. But if it does end up being 5v5, when 100 Thieves have rifles on board, then we need to start to see some level of game plan. And remember that even though 100 Thieves have picked this map, it's still up towards the top of KRÜ's map pool. This is not uncomfortable territory for KRÜ.
Ulti used early here. Okay, now you see it. Trailblazer spots quite a lot. Heavy group up from 100 Thieves. The entirety of their team over towards A.
Asuna forgot where the ult orb was.
Comes it now, but none of that util's been pulled out prior. 100 Thieves. We've been trying to get this spike down, but they are just being cornered. A little bit of a trap here towards the top of A ramp as well. Wall in their face. No choice but to try and run straight through because they don't want to be saving those pistols. And so KRÜ, it's been quite an easy, flawless round.
These are the kind of rounds where it really matters. You see whether KRÜ, with 4 Spectres in hand, are able to come up with anything decent on their bonus round.
Flawless.
I think KRÜ are set up really nicely here with the first pistol round win for an extremely dominant victory. I might be calling this way too early. Hell, we might be going to OT, map 3, who knows? 100 Thieves picking it back up, slaughtering. Who can say? But with the way that this series has begun and the confidence of the KRÜ players,
it's boundless.
They just look so comfortable.
Yeah. And now we're looking at this bonus round. So, goal taken care of. No info going to be gathered really off of that. Still just holding this crossfire set up towards mid, waiting for this Viper orb to go down now. That's 100 Thieves.
Go get it.
It's very interesting to me to see the way that Melser set up his stars. Take a look at that star on A ramp, really tucked in the corner. I think that's so that they can stun re-clear A ramp if there's any pressure towards there. Not going to happen this round. What a swing from keznit. He wants to fight.
Fully aggressive. It's KRÜ using both his slow ups as well. He was scared at a re-peek.
So like I said, 40 seconds gone. 100 Thieves have just been waiting. Trailblazer forced out on defense. But now what do 100 Thieves do to try and take space and put pressure on? KRÜ have not given them a free pick.
Have to commit somewhere. And what is the direction they want to do it? They're going to be pushing them back now. Seconds ticking it down. A lot of damage being done. Another satchel pushing them back, buying even more time, just trying to work their way in, but they want to be going over towards A into ropes. Surrounded now. KRÜ up close. It's exactly where they're going to be favored when they've got this bonus weaponry. The Spectres are ripping them to pieces. They can't stand up to it. Nothing in sight.
And an incredible read again by KRÜ. 3 players there. Complete A ramp control the entire time. And Stella's way too slow to provide any level of distraction for those A ramp players. KRÜ have a gorgeous setup. NagZ just pulls all of the attention running away into A heaven and sets up Klaus.
1 enemy remaining.
Here with Melser to rinse them. Easiest kills. It's a bonus round for KRÜ. 100 Thieves are hurting immediately.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as good as a beginning as you could hope for.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah, don't worry, mistakes happen still. Any sort of capitalization off of it, 100 Thieves. Moving away forwards now. A couple of stingers, maybe they can run it down and try and get a kill or 2. Lovely stun, okay. NagZ is dealt with, claimed a rifle. Well, not 4v5, but if the previous map is any indicator, KRÜ winning 71% of the rounds. I believe that they were even in a 4v5, so maybe that will still be the same case. Asuna taken care of.
Look at how Melser's taken B main control, though. Even if this does end B, 100 Thieves play so many people in the same spot that Melser's just got a great position to backstab them. He knows that he's probably going to be taking a 1v1 in B main at worst against Stellar. And in fact, though, Stellar is trying to take space up in A heaven.
But he's alone doing so, making sure that the angles are watched for. Steadily, slowly. 35 seconds left.
Keznit.
Oh, he sees
just spotted a gun barrel.
Weapon out, sticking to the side as an attempt. Swing, a punish from Bang, potentially now flooding right down. Waterfall, straight into the sightline of Klaus.
KRÜ have so many of these little moments, actually, where we've seen one player dragging attention for 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves take the bait. Just chasing the white rabbit, following all the way down the hole, and Klaus mops them up.
Wide swing to punish. Just the nature of the way that KRÜ have been playing this as well, even and the parallels between this map and Ascent so far. I mean, they've been grouping up heavily, stacking with a lot of their players, but they've just been following the trail of utility that gets used.
Yeah, they're finding it very obvious and clear right now to track where 100 Thieves are going on their attack side. That is a lot of damage very early on by Melser. He tried to peek B main. Got wallbang headshot.
Has to respect it, but look at that, it's given up the entirety of the B site. Swapping around, actually leaving it for a heal, so there was an opportunity presented if the space could have been taken, but 100 Thieves obviously not too aware of that. Now using the Trailblazer, see if they can claim any more space. It's immediately broken, and there was no follow-up. Great snake bite. It's from NagZ there, placed it to the feet of the players. 100 Thieves couldn't follow up on it.
They've pulled out a lot of the Sky utility, but also, again, 100 Thieves have made it very obvious where they are currently. I'm surprised the Seekers even get used. You could have waited a little longer for that, but with them getting broken up in B heaven, pretty clear that there's a lot of mid pressure currently for 100 Thieves. And the re-push comes out in B main. DaveeyS, Melser, clear it.
The disrespect so far. It's been a key component to a lot of these wins, but it's a heaven all the way to push through into B. No other presence here, the double satchel into the side. Asuna's got so much to do there and gets away with a kill. Maybe opened it up for it with 20 seconds remaining. Timing is everything, and Klaus, while the confidence to take that fight. Bang! High ground angle watched for. Showstopper now going to be utilized. Goes wide all the way. No kill. Claim keznit still alive. And guess what? Rattling shot after shot. The Guardian in his hands. 100 Thieves.
There's no time.
No time at all. Right down to nothing. Another round for KRÜ. 5 on the board.
And every player dropping. Ruinous to the economy. A tragedy. Keznit, though, what is this? Comes in, completely unaware from Bang, wins the duel against Asuna as well, and just cracks this wide open. Meanwhile, though, 100 Thieves have never pushed anybody B main.
No.
Melser was just allowed to sit there the entire time. And KRÜ must be wondering how they're allowed to get away with stuff like that. Wait, really? No one's gonna reflag B main at
It
any
beggars
point?
belief. It really does. A lot of the
Literally
times,
everybody through B heaven.
just grouped up through mid. The only time they've been attempting a split was either at the pistol round or when it was Stellar just lurking towards A ramp. And so a timeout's taken now for 100 Thieves to try and, listen, correct the course a little bit, but the question is, I mean, where do you begin? The hole's got holes in it all over the place, Josh. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
it's a hard task.
But also, what a beautiful day for KRÜ. They could not have asked for a better start to this series.
Yeah.
13-4, now a 5-0 lead. They were up 7-0 map 1 as well. In terms of confidence building, in terms of getting that first win and feeling like you've got the ability to challenge other teams in this league, it's everything that KRÜ could have asked for today. Big performances out of their star players, winning every game duel, reading 100 Thieves like a book. It's just all working. And their CEO, Sergio Aguero's here to watch it all.
Maybe that's the difference maker. Maybe that's the difference maker.
Maybe it is.
That should wet.
They're getting the football buff. Soccer. Sorry, we're in VCT
Yeah,
Americas.
it's Americas, Josh.
I mean,
Get it right.
actually, the majority of Americas doesn't call it soccer.
They call it football. Don't get onto this train of thought now.
No,
Actually, you can. It's a half bite.
It's about,
You can go off, actually. keznit, no fear in his heart as that wants to take an early fight there, but dog broken. Flash to push them away as well towards A main.
And a Trailblazer used to try and set Stellar up a little.
Free fight was there, so DaveeyS is respecting it for the time being. Nade in his hands though. That's going to be missing the timing as the players are already pushed all the way up, deep into ropes, but no kill found. Slow orb at their feet. Bit of anti-synergy perhaps as well, because I believe that was Cryo's, so quite push and punish. Right now with 45 seconds left, it's a scramble. Everyone's looking for opportunities. Is there going to be a trade there? DaveeyS drop down. 2 health, repositions. It's a bit of run and gun, but it gets the job done. Still the reset, Melser.
Spike down.
Being pushed there, even just opting to use the stun for some reason, but who knows? Dropping down into hell now.
One enemy remaining.
Not enough position. Spray down from Stella, not enough. Can't quite find that bullet. Desperate for the cranium.
You gotta think there if 100 Thieves have weapons, surely they're able to get the kill on Melser. He gets away with murder. But also, Brent, you were commenting, why does he use the stun there? Because he thinks people are coming B main.
Yeah.
And there's nobody ever coming B main. I mean, even with Melser having re-explored that in some previous rounds, he still gives 100 Thieves the credit. Like, surely I'm gonna get pushed through that smoke. Surely. Nope. Nope, they're
Not
all
at
heaven.
all. Yeah.
They're all heaven. All right, Rifles back on board. Can KRÜ get up to that 7-0 lead, same as we saw on Ascent? keznit now with an op.
Early pressure. Slow orb. Okay. Off angle for keznit with the operator, but with him dealt with, is there going to be any sort of pace behind this? Looks like the attempt might be there. Seeker's wall. Oh. Seekers end up breaking the wall.
You are divided.
Bit of anti-synergy. But the Cosmic Divide comes through as well. And now Asuna and Stellar are left in like a strange double lurk position.
This is very odd. 100 Thieves eventually making their way into the B side, just making sure it's all cleared out, but they've committed so many ults. Cosmic Divide at any point now is going to be starting to go down.
And the plant is still not through. Bang is just getting the spike in.
Spike planted.
So how does this post plant get played?
Exactly where you
No one into the back of the site, no one into the back of the corner. Trailblazer. At our own Cosmic Divide as well. Let's just split this up. There needs to be an attempt to refight through this one because it's blocked them off. Pulls used incredibly early there. No one was tapping that spikes. Lovely flash play. There's 100 Thieves trying to get proactive all the way through, and the stun is good to connect, but a fight not won. Melser tapping
Player
it.
standing.
Doesn't win the second one. Bang. Reclaiming the kill. Flick of the wrist, but Cryo pushes.
And it's not going to be the clean 7-0 for KRÜ. 100 Thieves finally respond back. Off the back of being able to find a good first pick on the operator, that's a nice shot from Derrek, and then proactivity, using Derrek's utility in the post plan to get past that Cosmic Divide that was laid down. So I like the way that 100 Thieves played that. Can they find those same openings at the beginning? Because if you think back to what I was saying, 100 Thieves playing slowly at the beginning of these rounds, first 40 seconds just watching for the peak, watching for the push, and that really is the first time where they've been rewarded for it. Not because keznit overstepped himself, but because they read where it was going to be and hit a nice shot.
A lot of disrespect showing though. keznit's so close to this one. Klaus is covering him. One shot found, vulnerable up into the choke point. The flash is good to try and blind him for but a moment, but it needs to be just some push. Attempt over it. Derrek's there. Takes the fight to him, and he does trade it, but he's the last player left standing now. To the back of the A side. Spikes in his hands. Minute 10, opportunities to slow this one. Tap of the spike as well, wants to try and force one of the fights. But grouped up, it's the name of the game for KRÜ here. Flash doesn't see anything. Dead too close to the wall, I think. This is giving him false information. He thinks he can stick it, he thinks nobody's there! And KRÜ, of course, they're going to be jumping on that.
A bit rough, but Derrek was still in a 1v3.
Of course, yeah.
I can respect the change of pace for 100 Thieves. They went for something fast, aggressive, out through A main, when usually they've been playing slow at the beginning of these rounds. The issue being, the response was there from KRÜ. It was really nice. Snakebite comes through, they've got a pull there as well. Spam. sorry, not a snake bite, but the pull coming through, and then also just a massive amount of spam coming through from Klaus.
Always covering.
And keznit got away. Now big ultimates available for the defending team, and 100 Thieves definitely on the ropes. Again, 100 Thieves were a squad that would have been coming into this game hoping to have a statement win that showcased to their fans that they still had what it took to be able to make it to playoffs. And not only did 100 Thieves need to win this game, they also needed to get an upset of one of the big 4 teams in order to have a serious shot at getting back into playoffs and making a run towards Tokyo, as people hoped from them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And that dream looks absolutely dead in the water. 13-4, the score on the first map. Down 7-1 here in a 3v5.
Yeah, you need something akin, I think, to divine intervention at this point, but see if they got what it takes. Seekers dealt with. 3 players facing it towards mid, all grouped up. Rez is online, and it looks like that's why they're fighting for this space as well. They want to try and get this back into at least a 4v5, maybe. It could be winnable. Close corner, updraft for keznit to escape, and they have regained this space. They want to opt to use the Rez. No, it doesn't look likely. Just
30 seconds though, there's barely any time.
no time at all.
KRÜ have taken a great timing on when to retreat. If this finishes B, they're going straight into the showstopper.
Yep, and there it is. Rocket unleashed, no kill claimed. Pushes them back with 20 seconds left. Kills need to be found, and found fast. Wall in their face, that's been taken off. Satchel pushes him right back. DaveeyS now onto the low ground. Shot still found onto the head
10 seconds
of Cryo. Walking right into it.
Flawless.
It's just too difficult. Can't get through it. These crossfire setups by KRÜ. No stone unturned.
$12-4 for Klaus. Just being able to play off his duelist mostly.
Yeah.
And use their distraction to trade, to swing, uncontested. What a rebound for this player. I think he won the Bagua d'Or. Listen, I'm not sure, but the Brazilian award for the worst player, he was nominated a couple of times over there.
You don't want that one.
You don't want that one, but Klaus definitely looking like he's playing really well within the system here.
Now we see fast play. First kill for Asuna. Immediate trade again by Klaus, just as we were crediting him. And he's got his confidence back, pushing forwards! Vulnerable from the snake bite. 3 in a round for him. Widest swing in the world. Does this see if they can claim anything at all. Spam through the wall though, common enough position, and Bang has lurked his way through. Seekers gonna be distracting them, pushing forwards. It gives information.
This is the kind of play they haven't gone for the entire time. Just abusing the fact that KRÜ are not playing heavily towards the edges of the map.
Bang can hold this space now. He knew that both of the players were doing ropes towards mid. He can hold down his heaven position.
Spike planted.
Potential's there to convert this 2-on-2.
DaveeyS and Melser have gone from vents all the way around the long
And playing
flank
together.
here. But I think the timing and the fact that Bang has not heard anything gives him some idea that they could be spawned.
Comes down to
Was
timing.
watching.
Might be taken. 1 kill.
Last player standing.
And grouped up, so DaveeyS does get that trade-off down to that 1-on-1.
Derrek could be anywhere.
Nade into elbow, and yet Derrek's position here. Will he get cleared? Will he get spotted? Off to the side, a shot whiffs. Out in the open, Derrek needs to win it, and he does! And so another one. Claim 2 rounds now. Clawing their way back.
At this point, though, I'm not even willing to have the conversation about how many the 100 Thieves need.
Sure.
They need 13. It's
Gotta be there.
It's a good one from Derrek. He's definitely found some moments where he looks like himself again. Can they weave together these final 2 rounds? Can Asuna pick up a big entry with a showstopper, perhaps? At this point, they must have a decent read, especially because Bang was able to get into A so frequently, so easily, sorry, that if they pull a lot of attention, they can lurk players through in other areas. KRÜ cannot be everywhere on the map at once.
No, absolutely not.
But once more, it's a 4-1 from 100 Thieves.
Looks like the game plan might be just go off with the showstopper. Yeah, it is. Though gets broken. Satchel, okay, banging his head on something there, just making sure. Stopped in his tracks still. Fuse running out here, clearing the close corner. Let's it rip, but completely vacated. Now a Cosmic Divide. This will split the side up. make it just that bit much safer. Made it to the back.
Spike
DaveeyS
planted.
escaping a lot of the damage there, but there's a slight gap that's been opened up. Satchel down into hell, all the way forward. Every single Asuna! That's monstrous, and that's what they need.
Confidence, aggression in the
Last
post plant.
round in the half.
Stellar on the lurk, not even required. Glimmers of it here from 100 Thieves these last couple of rounds. The read possibly a little too late there, but at the same time, I think they'll take anything they can get right now. What a beautiful spray transfer.
Absolutely impeccable.
As soon as 100 Thieves got that first round, I mean, they're 3-2.
I'd love a conversion of this final one, but KRÜ are going to be trying to stop them. Trailblazer, does that clear this? Looks like it, yeah. There was a nade used to try and watch the angle actually into ropes. All the way back, but 3 players grouped up from KRÜ, just making sure that they've got the crossfire set up, and it has opened up these gaps. You can see it now, looking like Stella wants to try and take that space.
Yeah, this is really nice. He notices that the Jet and the Sky are not here, and that's who have frequently been holding him back on A.
I think they've got the info to say, though. That deep B main push by Melser, I think he's heard Cryo running through spawn over towards A. See what he can get done, though. Satchel now into the side. It's vacated, and a lovely timing with that peek from Stella. Ult online as well. That's going to be giving even more information to work off of. They know that nobody's flanking.
This round has been lovely from 100 Thieves so far. I really like the way that Stella's called it. The problem is just that it's at round 12. And KRÜ still have a chance on the retake. Can they clear out a ramp? It is so heavy in the post plant for 100 Thieves here. I think it should be devastatingly good for them.
Trying to cover for the fire, trying to cover for this.
One enemy
Stella onto the
remaining.
close corner, on top of the wall as well. The fight's being taken together. This is exactly what 100 Thieves needed, but you can't let this one slip, NagZ. So 1v3, he is low. Not too many bullets left. Jumping spots, both of them here. All close to breaking. Double face should do it. 16 health left. Gotta be cool, calm, and collected, and there it is. Finalized with one last bullet. An 8-4 half. The potential is there. Maybe it could be salvageable, but for KRÜ, they're gonna be very, very happy with this.
100 Thieves have yet to win a pistol in the series so far. And with them being 8-4 down, this next pistol is going to be everything. We said they had to win one to start a comeback on Ascent, and they didn't. They lost. Can it be different now?
Yeah, we'll find out enough. Doug is standing by with a KRÜ founder as well. Mr. Aguero himself, I'm sure, is quite happy.
Como Douglas Costa.
Algo así. Thank you so much, Brent. Yeah, I'm standing by with Aguero. We're hanging out on a stream, hanging out in the studio. Aguero, primero de todo, ¿qué opinas de la harina? ¿Qué opinas de cómo está todo?
Bueno, la verdad que impresionante el estudio, o sea que bueno, muy contento disfrutando de mi equipo y bueno, esperemos que sea un buen día.
I asked him first of all, like, you know, how is he feeling given the game and given the arena, what he thinks of it all, and he's just fired up, he's enjoying it, he's having a really good time, and he's got really good reason to. Hablando del equipo, hablando de todo un poquito, dime el partido, ¿qué opinas? ¿Están ganando?
No, muy bien, el partido está bien, la verdad que los chicos, a pesar de que llevan 3 derrotas, están muy bien, digamos, en los entrenos, o sea, el entrenador lleva 1 mes y medio, la verdad que en ese sentido muy bien, porque hay que tener un poco, ¿no?, de paciencia y yo creo que lo están hoy demostrando todo, digamos, el buen entreno que están teniendo, lo están demostrando hoy. Yo pensé que iba a ser un poquito más adelante todavía, pero bueno, claro, está bueno que sea antes también, ¿no?
Y están ganando.
Sí, están ganando y bueno, pero por ahora en Argentina se dice no hay que decir nada, vamos a esperar.
Paciencia. I asked him what he thought about the game. He says, you know, they're winning, and patience is really the key here. The new coach has only gotten a couple weeks, so you just got to give it some time. They're going to continue to win. And the last thing he said was, we're just not going to address it. Let's just wait and let's see how the match ends out. Últimas palabras antes de que te dejo ir.
Últimas palabras, bueno, vamos KRÜ, tratar de de que ganemos. Obviamente no es fácil, pero bueno, espero que la gente lo esté disfrutando, que la verdad que es un juego que a mí me encanta muchísimo. Soy de jugarlo bastante y bueno, y un saludo a toda la gente también que vino acá, a pesar que vinieron a alentar al otro equipo, pero no importa.
Está bien, todo bien,
Así que está todo bien, no pasa nada. Así que un abrazo para todos los hinchas de KRÜ.
Buena suerte, mano. The last question I asked him was, any parting words? Vamos, KRÜ. It was as clear as day. It doesn't get any better than that. We'll throw it back to the desk to close out the match. Bren, Josh, what do you guys think?
Yeah, let's see which direction this one goes. I understood Vamos, KRÜ. I got that part. I got that part for sure, yeah. And yeah, I like that as well. Listen, no comment. Doesn't want to curse anything.
Exactly.
This is KRÜ that are paving the way to trying to get their first win in the Americas split. Right now, quite a lead indeed. But it's 100 Thieves that might be, Josh, listen, might be injecting some hope into me here with this couple of rounds at the end here with 4 on the board, but the pistol round needs to be converted nevertheless.
It's been 3 out of 3 pistol rounds for KRÜ so far.
And it's fast. We knew this was going to be the play. KRÜ running this double duelist comp, the bread and butter of it. It's how much space you can take just off the rim. It's explosive all the way through. Nade is great, actually. Right into the feet of them onto the ropes. keznit can't even get out of there. No chance in hell. Lovely from Asuna to claim that.
It's exactly the same pistol attempt from both teams. And 100 Thieves, they wall off mid, so there's no chance of being pushed from there, and then naded into vent.
Doubled up, grouped up. Spike in the hands of Klaus. Might be trying to make something work there. A bit of a contact push.
Healing over here.
A lot of these angles are being watched for, though, and his position's going to be noted. Space given up towards mid. There could be a potential of a bit of a pivot, but no. As the spikes go down, NagZ, how do you win that one?
The timing's so off there from Derrek, trying to help bang.
Flash around the side, duck, bang, trying to be that savior. Top of heaven.
One enemy remaining.
Tap, tap. Patience is
Spike
key.
down A.
He kills claim, so Melser, last player standing out in the open. Cryo wants to take the fight, and there it is. Won it out. And a pistol round, finally, Josh, over the course of this series. The 100 Thieves, much lauded after prize.
That's going to be absolutely necessary to give them any chance to get back into this. Obviously, Split does trend. I mean, I say obviously. Actually, with this new version of Split, it hasn't been that defender-sided.
No.
So not even that level of cope for 100 Thieves, especially with DaveeyS and keznit playing the double duelist. It can actually trend attackers-sided, but it all comes down to how 100 Thieves deal with it and how their anchoring it is. And you saw that even with Derrek falling, Bang's anchoring on it on A looked really solid.
Bull to try and punish that one. Asuna was close. Nades. Rebounds. Players are pushed forwards. And yep, Melser was separated. Couldn't retreat. Had to take the fight straight to them. But there's no slowing this down at all onto this eco. Spraying them down. Right into it. Trying to make sure the covering fire is there. Forced to really put a damp on it, though, in the middle of this. Still rattling off the shots from DaveeyS. He was hoping for a bit of RNG, maybe a stray shot landing.
What a difference
all the way back.
What a difference in terms of tempo, though, Bren, at the beginning of these rounds.
Yeah.
Like, KRÜ are going for early map control instantly. I mean, while we saw on the attack side, Cryo would throw a slow orb and spam a little bit towards B main. KRÜ run as fast as they can.
All the way through. Use out their util to take ramp or B main.
So 100 Thieves are going to be having to take these battles right from the off and then reset a little. And KRÜ are hoping that they're going to be able to win map control early, maybe even generate a pick and give themselves a favorable advantage to play from.
30 seconds left.
That's the last player standing here.
If Asuna can find this kill, he's close to his showstopper, actually. Definitely worth trying to send this.
Another nade. Klaus is being cornered, trapped in every position known. Frenzy, can't get away with that. There he is. Okay, eventually falling. So Asuna, yeah, like you said, 2 away now from the showstopper with that kill.
Very kind from Cryo not to steal the kill so that Asuna could get close to the showstopper.
Yep.
It's only the very best teams in Valorant that you'll see do that.
Yeah.
Teams
it's nice of him to lose the fight.
Yeah, very, very good coordination there from 100 Thieves.
But okay, the winner Yiko, keeping the economy relatively in check there, so gonna get a reasonable bonus round going. It's got a bit of danger behind it with the Bulldog. Derrek's got in his grips, so
There.
putting the attention towards mid early on. Flash right down. KRÜ not wasting any time once more. I mean, that's been the name of the game for them, hasn't it? The entire time here.
That peak is lovely. Exactly as Asuna was about to swing and break the Trailblazer. Could potentially have had his head ripped off there by keznit. And like I said, how fast are KRÜ to take this area of the map? First 20 seconds. Repush B main.
Flash is good. Melser just backs away. He's walking into the wall there as well. His position is noted. Surely into the close corner here. Trying to get the pull. Nade right into the corner. 23 health. He survives. Backs away, and there's a heal online as well. Klaus has got that in his back pocket. So back up to 100.
That's unfortunate. It's a really nice reclear idea from 100 Thieves, but the nade was just a little off.
Asuna's re-cleared his own space as well. No fear in his heart. Taking that B main position, so he knows that there's no attempt towards that, but doesn't mean they've had to give up some semblance of idea of what's going on towards mid.
And they're very happy if this ends A. Kill trip set up for Stella.
I've got your trail.
Cam for info. Here come the Seekers, though. Klaus using these in the bonus round. Should end up getting broken early, but they're swinging in front of them.
Early fight, updraft dash over the top. That's going to be dodging some of the trips, but guess what? You can't dodge all of them. Cage is giving a lot of covering fire here, but with Stella falling, it needs to be more, and there it is from the sidelines with only 11 seconds. Plan has to go down. Showstopper's giving the easiest target in the world. And that is 100 Thieves. Conversion of the bonus, exactly what they needed, and suddenly looking much more doable, almost evening up that scoreline.
I really like the idea from 100 Thieves that the B re-clear is fantastic and sets Asuna on this crazy fast flank. Instantly. He gets those 2 kills that's necessary to get his showstopper online. Pops it, kills the planter. Gorgeous round.
Major difference that I'm seeing here with 100 Thieves. Just proactive plays to take back the space. They know that KRÜ are grouped up a lot. Just having the confidence to take those fights as well. Great start. Wall across. A rifle for NagZ, so he can't quite break that one easily enough. With the Phantom spam, you never know. Almost getting one out of it, but...
Here.
Change of the setup. CCTV POV there from Stella, just making sure that they can't contact up. There was a trip as well. You can see it a little bit deeper and a cage on top of it, so...
It is a very different defensive setup, though, isn't it? Wall early towards A main and trips for mid information.
Asuna's going to nade off of this, most likely. Might be the goal. Oh. Hello. None the wiser. Dash is there. There's a pull on top of it. Yeah, just swings with a weapon.
And this is more what you're expecting from a team like 100 Thieves. This feels like the ideas and the plays that they had last year.
Blocking vision.
Where everybody knows what the game plan is, and there's a set idea of who's supposed to play off what piece of utility.
Yeah.
And even though 100 Thieves aren't necessarily being aggressive, they are actually controlling the tempo
left.
because everywhere KRÜ goes, they're running into some kind of trap or some kind of synchronized play. That is a very nice round by 100 Thieves. It is used on an anti-eco, but it gets them level in the series. And what a time for 100 Thieves to have won their first pistol in the series, their first bonus round in VCT Americas, and then show us a very nice defensive setup. Talk about stringing things together that they needed to showcase and put the pressure back on KRÜ. Everything coming at the right time.
Listen, there's been that doubt that's been creeping into, I think, some of the statements we've been uttering, Josh, as well, from time to time, but listen.
For good reason, I would say.
Absolutely. But as the map progresses, it's even, and now KRÜ on the back foot. It's a timeout call by them. Trying to discuss what they need to do, because you're right, it's 100 Thieves who have great control of the tempo of the way this split map is currently landing. A lot of these early explosive plays by KRÜ where they're just trying to take that map control with a double duelist. It's being shut down. There's a lot of stool available to 100 Thieves with this one composition they're playing. You think about it with the pulls, the nades, Cryo's got his slow orbs, the trips you have to navigate as well that are placed in very defensive, far back positions. KRÜ are finding it difficult to chew through all of that.
Atom, the new head coach, they're absolutely popping off in the timeout for KRÜ too.
Yeah.
While Mike adopts the we were born with one mouth and 2 ears approach.
Stoic.
Just listening to his players, allowing really what has been a good defensive half right now to continue out.
Yeah. Not much that needs changing.
Not really, not just yet. So this defensive setup shifted again. Stella's got his cam over towards B. it looks like they're still trying to get into good defensive positions early, but you've got Cryo and Asuna playing together over at A ramp. That means slow nade combos. Two players with very good firepower contesting here too. Oh, and I love this Trailblazer. It pushes people into the A ramp fight, but only 1 for 1 for 100 Thieves.
For one, keznit's so fast on the approach as well. He's able to just a couple of bullets clipping the legs there.
Instant reaction too.
Yep.
That was very much missing from the 100 Thieves attack side. Somebody to take space super quickly off the back of other info.
Good awareness from Derrek, knowing that
You are
space was
divided.
compromised. For the Cosmic Divide up, an early peek by Derrek. A pre-fire onto the corner, hoping for something a little bit more here. DaveeyS. Late backstab. This trip in his face, though, is making it awfully hard to try and get around that.
DaveeyS would love for Stella to go down here. If 100 Thieves attempt some kind of retake and Stella falls, suddenly DaveeyS is going to have an amazing position.
Could be it. Cosmic Divide online.
Well
How is it going to
divided.
be placed? Okay, splits up the site. Does not have to worry too much about the Heaven presence, but they still have two players anchoring. Melser close to the wall as well. It's all about the timing of where this gets taken, and there it is. Swinging up the tap as Derrek claims that first kill, still making her way and making it around all the way through. DaveeyS position's got to be noted, and what a swing by Bang. Hit straight off the shoulders of DaveeyS, didn't stand a chance.
The retake is lovely, and it's again at the perfect time for 100 Thieves. This is their map pick, and now that they're on the defense side, we're starting to see why. I didn't really get an idea of it on their attack half. I don't think it looked amazing. But now that we see the stuff that they're pulling out here,
Yeah, we're seeing the preparation, the work, the different setups, the changes to it, the way they're playing off of each other.
yeah, the coordination just looking so much stronger
Yeah.
in that retake compared to what we've seen across the whole of the rest of the series.
Got to be ready to deal with this one, though. Look at that. 4 players grouped up from KRÜ. Straight towards B. Disrespecting that. Boombot's dealt with. Dash active as well. keznit wants to try and take a fight to them. Cuts his way across. Spam into the common angles all the way across. Up and over. There's 100 Thieves who are ready for it. A slow warp dropped at the feet, splits up the players. NagZ wants to try and make the most of this. That's a timing. Straight away taken. Trailblazer didn't spot it. And Derrek realizes it.
I don't know whether he realizes it or just has insane reactions there.
Either way, returns with the kill. Klaus. Really so much to do in this scenario, but the way 100 Thieves are playing this one, they are leaving no gaps in their play, always taking these fights together.
And the variety of setups on the defense is really throwing KRÜ for a loop. Stella's moving his setups. He played hard anchor one of the rounds, then he moved it over to B. We saw him play those trips for mid information, and this time Cam over towards A Heaven. What I would consider like the most default setup for 100 Thieves. Cam in Heaven, then they have Derrek looking for info over towards A ramp. The Sage is playing towards mid B Heaven, and you have Asuna and Bang playing heavy B main. That's going to be a very common setup, but it's the fact that 100 Thieves are rotating so many of them. We've seen, I think, at least 4 distinctly separate defensive setups here over the course of the first 6 rounds. That is very difficult to get a read on if you're KRÜ.
Yes.
You can't tell where the Cypher utility is going to be. Can we burst this round, or are they kill trips? Are we, do we need to go and take a lot of mid control and break their information? Where do we have to be worried about slow nade combos? All of this kind of stuff is switching. And when you have this variety of defensive setups, it makes it very difficult for KRÜ to figure out a good game plan in the mid round.
And current plans falling apart a little bit here on the attack side, but this is the second time, and that's taken in short succession here for KRÜ, looking for answers, because 100 Thieves, look at the amount of rounds they've managed to rack up one after the other.
And remember, even when they talk to their coach, it's not like the coach is going to be able to tell them all of the defensive setups that 100 Thieves are running.
Yeah,
we get the privilege of seeing that from home.
Yeah, you can see everything, but they're working off of limited viewpoints, obviously, only their team.
Yeah,
what they're witnessing. So,
and it is much harder to get that read. Here it's swapped up again, like a full B retake kind of setup. Early A ramp pressure.
And a fight to be taken! Wow, okay.
I like the swing from Asuna. I think he's favored there, but keznit just ignores the dog completely.
Here.
Yeah. Wasn't keen on breaking that one. Asuna did have the confidence to take the fight, but he will fall, so.
And I can appreciate that from Asuna. He has looked confident on Duelist. something that we were criticizing 100 Thieves for in general, and Cryo specifically, map 1.
Playing for the Reds here, Josh. Wall up. There's an attempt to deny it there as well. NagZ ended up using the snake bite. There needs to be a response, and there is from KRÜ. They immediately take all that space, and guess what? Bang has to be the guy right now. Dash forwards, it's cut up the crosshair placement, spam into the smoke, and that swing from keznit. That's immaculate timing. Still a fight. Opportunity before the smoke's even placed in the face of Stellar.
Welcome to my
Let's
world.
take out keznit, so down into that 4-on-4, but with the Viper's bit in their faces, they need to go fast, flooding straight in. Showstopper, close to the corner there. Asuna doesn't get anything from it. Into the corner, they know B main is compromised. Do they choose to refight this one together now? That's the question. Lot to deal with here. Melser's dealt with, no longer that B player, and the spam into the smokes, it's so potent. With the Phantoms in their hands, Stellar leaping forwards. They're trading out the kills. An angle to be watched for. NagZ is outside of the pit. It's going to be falling in just a moment. The decay damage is there. Still incredibly winnable. NagZ has found the first, sticking it through! He wins it! Derrek doesn't get off. Tries to stick the plan all the way.
And that Red Bull clutch is like a dagger to the heart of 100 Thieves. The first round that they lose, actually, still a decent round for 100 Thieves, all things considered. The way in which they were able to navigate the pit, they had some nice ideas. But NagZ played this one beautifully.
Yeah, a lot of credit to NagZ, I think.
Able to take down Asuna, as Asuna was looking for information. And honestly, I don't think Asuna thought he was even going to get challenged. He assumed that NagZ was still inside the pit somewhere.
Yeah.
Taking your timings outside the pit is so much more difficult now after the Viper nerf.
It wins NagZ the round.
KRÜ have tons of attacking tools at their disposal here. Showstopper's great for taking space. The Seekers as well. And what they've been doing is trying to reactively take some area when they spot the weakness. If 100 Thieves are stacking B main or A main, they'll try and react through mid or through the opposite side of the map.
Cam setup. I must wait a moment. Spots them. No, now the heavens taken, so that's 100 Thieves looking to try and take the fight. Trailblazer to clear through. Bit of spam through the box though.
So this is the defensive setup I was describing as 100 Thieves default, except that Asuna is not playing B main, he was playing up in A heaven. So even then, adding a bit of a flair to it. The B heaven wall has been broken, Cryo's wall with a gap in it. So that has pulled Asuna over and away from A heaven. KRÜ were doing a lot of these kind of push-pull plays where they ended in a re-hit on Ascent, if you remember back.
Trail.
Is it going to be the same here? It certainly looks like it.
Fake towards B. Showstopper, Seekers, flash committed into heaven, but guess what? The spike is landing all the way over towards A. That's the end goal. And they're trying to push and pull these rotations with some level of success, but still 100 Thieves, they hold their ground. Stellar anchoring at the back of the site. What kill can they find? At the back of the map, one, but eventually traded. Derrek returns.
10 seconds, planting for heaven?
Plan for heaven. A swing there from Asuna could have just put a stop to this entire round. Doesn't take the fight though.
What a risk.
Assuming it to be held. So plan for heaven, 2 players still there. Pull off to the side, resetting it. Melser, last one standing. 1v3. 100 Thieves doubled up, dropping down. It's all about trying to take good fights together. No one was really there for Cryo, but okay, wins the fight. A correction, Bang was there with a re-swing to help out, even if he did fall. So 11 now gained for 100 Thieves.
And this defense side is really working. I thought that was a very nicely played round by KRÜ as well, actually. The way in which they take a bit of ramp control, threaten like it's going to be a B heaven play. I think the fake was good too. Honestly, DaveeyS a little unlucky not to come away with at least 1 kill. The Showstopper not quite finding its target, the nade not there to finish it off, and he loses the duel as well. But that very easily could have been an advantage situation for KRÜ. Nice little micro play as well by Derrek and Stellar as Derrek flashed in for Stellar to anchor. And look at this aggression down mid. It's Asuna, it's Cryo going for a walk, while the duelists on the other side take ramp.
Deep push against the half by. It's risky, but it does allow them to get off this wall. Denying a lot of that information. keznit all the way pushed forward. Location reveal, he is darted, but a flash to accompany it. Kill golden, as Asuna wants to take the fight to them. Does well to get 2, but keznit still with the knives, now refreshed.
One of the major differences in terms of this map for 100 Thieves on the defense is how insanely confident Asuna has been. He is just taking every fight. And he's winning a ton of them.
He's being a spearhead for his team, and that's what we needed to see as well. There's just little moments of hesitation in that first map from 100 Thieves, the way they were taking the fights, but also they didn't seem certain with
screen down.
how they wanted to trade it out, or if they even wanted to trade it at all.
100 Thieves are reading that this is going to be an A re-hit. It's how KRÜ have played most of the time. Unfortunately, they've guessed incorrectly just this once. It looks like KRÜ are going to try and end B. Unless they do something crazy here and put a ton of pressure onto
30 seconds
Cryo.
left.
They might just end up walking into him unless they're passing through B heaven.
Just making sure that the angles are watched for. And look at
What's
Cryo, he's
going
so
on here?
uncertain.
Whoa!
He doesn't know where they are. Handed over a rifle.
Whoa, the timing is crazy though. Melser was in astral form.
And anything could have happened. Still with keznit low.
Plant the spike.
Not out of the woods just yet. Here we see it.
10
Spike getting
seconds left.
planted. No one on the side, so it is going to be that freebie, and they've handed over to the rifles with the knives. KRÜ are set up here.
100 Thieves retakes have been very good, but they're usually in position a lot earlier than this. At this point, with 100 Thieves coming close, they could be anywhere. KRÜ could be pushing CT, they could be in B heaven mail, anywhere.
Spoke to push forwards. Bang!
Last
2
player
kills.
standing.
1 player left standing, but it's NagZ, and he just doesn't guess where the positioning is.
A very difficult 2v3. KRÜ are expected to win that kind of situation, and that was a thrifty. That was a situation where KRÜ had a bunch of players with frenzies and a blade storm.
Yeah.
And they ended up coming away with the victory there. I think KRÜ are actually calling a very nice attack side that's throwing 100 Thieves for a loop. Compared to the first half of this map, felt like both teams were struggling. The second half, I mean, KRÜ not so much, obviously. They were dealing with what 100 Thieves were throwing at them fairly well. But this half, I think KRÜ are playing better, but 100 Thieves are also stepping up.
Seeing that timeout called, pressure starting to get applied, because if you're thinking about KRÜ's situation, they do not want to let this opportunity slip away from them. Try and close out this series in a 2-0 fashion. They don't have the lead. They lost that quite some time ago, but the last 3 rounds, they've got 2 of them. So it was that string of rounds back-to-back that 100 Thieves claims, but no longer is the momentum really on their side, and that's what's really caused this.
With the amount of input that the KRÜ head coach has been having, and actually the amount of holes that they're finding in the 100 Thieves defense, I'd be a little bit worried here to take a timeout as Mike's, because you're going to allow the head coach of KRÜ, newly added, to add more of that input. You heard Aguero talking about it. This is supposed to be a bit of a work in progress right now, this KRÜ squad, because the leadership has changed recently. People seem to forget that KRÜ underwent some pretty massive shifts right before VCT Americas began.
It takes a long time to find your footing, any sort of project that gets set up.
So now taking a look at the defensive setup, Stella with a cam over towards B main. We've got Cryo. Looks like he wants to just wall this off immediately.
But disrespect, DaveeyS on top of it. Portion broken, dropped down to his feet, slow up as well. A ramp control is going to be KRÜ's.
Asuna has been very confidently taking these fights, and I don't see any reason why this round would be an exception. He could easily get a flash from Derrek once that comes back online and try and refight A ramp.
Trailblazer broken, not too sure how much information that's going to be gathering, but call's made, contact push into heaven with the Viper wall as it does go down. Flash as well. That's going to give more information for 100 Thieves here, but it's that slow siege by KRÜ, honestly. One of the adjustments they've been making is steadily contacting and taking that space and seeing where are the weaknesses in the defensive setup that 100 Thieves are running. 40 seconds left. Time might start to becoming an issue.
They've pushed 100 Thieves completely out of mid, completely out of A heaven. And so they've got 3 players hard anchoring B and 2 players hard anchoring A.
30 seconds left.
The time, though, could be an issue for KRÜ, but as we can see, this is about to get really difficult for Cryo and Derrek.
The responsibility is on those 2 players anchoring at the back of the side. The dog, that's a stun. Need to clear most of it. Cosmic Divider, that's a try and peel, that's bang, he set that one. Oh, kill! Right through the wall, keznit claiming 2 still. Time running low.
No amazing
plant around the corner.
No amazing post-plant positions from KRÜ here. Everyone is very grouped up.
Backed up onto the side, and how do they want to try and take this one? Orb, in the face of bang.
If Asuna gets 1 kill, he has his Raze ult online.
But a setup here, off to the side. Or is it a trade? Asuna still a bit of spam into that smoke at the side of the map. Fight taken, Stella doesn't win it. It's down to Asuna. And an offset of the movement there, NagZ. will find his mark. 11 to 11. Dragged all the way back. An even scoreline.
Lacking a bit of that coordination there in terms of the retake. But KRÜ calling another very nice attack round, I think. The first 6 rounds on KRÜ's attack, they were running into very defensive setups that they couldn't navigate their way around. And now it looks like they've got the read. They're abusing mid control, taking A heaven, and it doesn't feel like 100 Thieves have a great answer for it.
Slow beginnings of KRÜ. Acting counter, honestly, as well to a lot of the strengths of the double duelist, being able to burst and take that space early on quite quickly.
But they're still reacting quickly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference. They're poking, they're prodding, they're seeing what space you can get with, little resistance. But then making good game plans off of it. Explosive once they take that space. And so a fight taken as the boom bar gets broken! Shotstopper was unleashed.
Almost no damage.
Yeah. Dash really playing a significant part there. Nade down, taking control of ropes again, because they know mid's compromised and anything could happen here, but it's DaveeyS who's lurking his way with the help of Klaus. They hear the cam right above them. Can they try and break this one with the setup? Looks unlikely. They don't want to face this one, and a refight by 100 Thieves is caused. Free fire onto the corner, backing away. Enough damage there. And well, Klaus is just healing onto the side. Flash into the corner, reflash doesn't tag anything, 49 health! Shut down!
And this is chaos, there's 30 seconds left in the round. The KRÜ players are all over the place, the spike
left.
is in market. How do they even get into a position to win?
Time is becoming a significant element here. keznit with 1, and he has just been so chaotic. Still alive, but eventually dealt with. Running is honestly getting away with murder there into the spawn. Res online though, and a plant was opened up, the B site completely. Melser placed it down in a 1v3. Assuming no slip-ups now, 100 Thieves should be the slam dunk for them. They should be able to get this to that point. Spots the position, trade online, double-faced for 100 Thieves, and just like that, that 12th round coveted.
KRÜ definitely had a read on what Stella's setup was like, but took too long to navigate it and had players in all sorts of unusual positions.
One enemy remaining.
They had to root people out from all over the place there. And it is a big round for Cryo. The trade's good. The way that 100 Thieves dealt with the chaos is good too. Are we going to see OT? I think I may have cursed it earlier, Brent.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Did say there was a chance we went to OT 3 match.
Lots of opportunities for KRÜ. Get back into this one. Fast. Flash up to the side. Cryo. Tap, reposition with the movement.
Satchel out.
They aim steady enough that a kill is claimed quite nicely. It's a big kill to be claimed. But this is what KRÜ have been doing a lot. Bit of aggression maybe, but now starting to contact through, seeing if they can get anything else. Dog. Too much.
I really like Cryo's wall in B main. It stops any chance of a re-hit.
Kick broken. It's a fast play. Onto the site, dash active now. Stella holding the heaven position. He only gets the one. keznit didn't drop down. Spike's been dropped. Know exactly where the position is. Still a minute on the clock, but the site's going to be opened up for them with the Viper's pit down. Now looking more than doable. keznit, aggression. Wants to take the fight to them on ramp with the knives in his hand. Not lacking any confidence at all.
keznit's a big weakness.
Doesn't know the meaning of the word, but he overheats and Derrek rips his head clean off. Cosmic Divide though online. That's going to split this one up and make it just that much harder for 100 Thieves, but they'd love to close this one out. They'd love to try and bring it to 3. Final play left standing, NagZ. Seen it before, can he do it again? Not quite. A collected 100 Thieves in the final moments, but they do just about drag it to that map number 3.
The fans are happy, and why wouldn't they be? That finally looked like serious 100 Thieves quality gameplay on their defensive side. I think KRÜ were playing fairly well on that attack half too, the way that they were trying to get the reads, play for mid control, split through B heaven, A heaven. But at the same time, we just saw such a wealth of different defensive setups. And for the first time in what feels like so long, 100 Thieves playing off each other and playing with confidence, especially for Asuna.
And I think that's going to be very interesting heading into map 3 because we've seen Cryo play the Jet for them on Fracture before. That looked really lacking map 1. Maybe there's a chance that the compositional adjustment has come through and Asuna ends up playing Raze on Fracture. I don't think it's likely, but I do think with the way that Asuna's currently playing, maybe that would be the difference maker.
Could be the difference maker indeed, but potential as well for KRÜ to maybe be kicking themselves. They couldn't close this out in the 2 maps that it was offered to them because now we're entering that Fracture as that 3rd map out of the strength. A lot of that map pool for KRÜ where the strengths were lying towards Ascent and Split, but that's going to do it for map number 2. Time for a quick break. When we return, the analysts are going to get us ready for that map number 3.
Welcome back to VCT Americas, where it took a map and a half, but 100 Thieves have come alive in this series with an utterly beautiful back half of Split to push us to a 3rd and final map.
Really great stuff out of 100 Thieves there. It felt like for the first time in this series, we were seeing our expectation of 100 Thieves. On that defensive side, the way that they played around the Cypher utility, the amount of looks that they managed to show on that defense, it was so much.
Because it was this defensive half that we targeted for 100 Thieves to get it done. Here's that reclear that you mentioned in B that buys Asuna the space to eventually flank, even though one of his teammates goes down in this exchange.
Yeah, we didn't get to see much of the defense on Ascent, but compare this to that, 100 Thieves was so much more proactive on this defensive side.
Yeah, I think what they do really, really well when Asuna's in this Raze role is he dictates the pace on this defensive half. You'll see very frequently him meeting up with Derrek throughout this half, Derrek dogging something out, and him following that Trailblazer, looking for the first blood actively. And if it's not that, Derrek's flashing for him. I often don't really see that when I see Cryo on the duelist role. I don't know if Asuna's the one asking for these plays, but the team looks so cohesive when he's in Raze.
They really do, and you see right at the end there as well, a lot of the value that this Cypher was providing, that can towards Heaven shut down really KRÜ from ever going towards those B splits. They tried to, but constantly it would be this trap play with the Raze nade, the suck from the Astra coming in as well. It was really good stuff out of them, but still, KRÜ showed some ability to come back, which we didn't see in their last series versus EG. They came up with new ideas on that attacking side and almost brought it back.
Yeah, they had some incredible tenacity considering the set plays like that out of 100 Thieves, right? Disallowing any approach towards Heaven and basically routing all of that offensive pressure towards A, whether it's through mid or through A main. And yeah, KRÜ did a good job of fighting through those defenses, just not quite enough to get the dub in the end.
Yeah, I think Sideshow actually said it on the cast that they had a lot of ideas. I actually really liked the approach from KRÜ's attack half, but 100 Thieves had all the solutions for once, and they were having these defensive aggressions that finally paid off, and Bang showed up really big when they needed to on that Heaven round, and then catching keznit in spawn instead of having keznit get like 3 kills through that cloud burst.
Yeah.
He stopped at 1, and that was a huge pivotal swing.
With those setups from 100 Thieves and the amount of Sentinel utility they had with both the Sage and the Cypher, it meant that KRÜ couldn't go for a lot of those hard hits that they really want to with that double duelist composition. So they had to play more into the mid-round, playing through mid in so many of those moments. And sometimes the coordination got off. DaveeyS on the Raze was first death so many times on that attacking side. It wasn't the same kind of coordination that I think we saw from KRÜ in the first map.
Yeah, when it comes to the Battle of the Razes, it was Asuna who came out on top. You even heard Brennan Josh starting to hypothesize, does this performance on Raze indicate that maybe he'll want to stick to that agent looking towards map 3? We'll talk that in just a bit while we relish in the performance that he put up here on Split.
Yeah, this is just going to be him farming kills. And like I said, this is that round you were talking about where he gets on this flank on the bonus, immediately pops his ult. This is something Asuna has that I think a lot of players lack, is just being in tune with the game, reacting immediately, and understanding that he's 1 kill off of ult. The second he gets that kill, boom, immediately going to pop ult. He already has the
ideas that were built around him on the Raze that allowed him to thrive. And I agree with you. I think it might be that he's just very vocal in asking for those setups, or that it's just the preparation, the set plays. I just like this look so much better.
339 ACS and 1.9 kills per round. I mean, to be trading 2 lives for your own on average every single round. Yeah, more of that, please, from Asuna. And all of a sudden, 100 Thieves is sitting pretty here. Let's talk map 3, though, because when we took a look at the map, Vito, Sean, the first thing I said was these first 2 maps look good for KRÜ, but I feel like they have to get it done in 2 because I'm scared of their fracture.
And you have a right to be. That last map against EG last week was a disaster. It was chaos. They did not know how to deal with the Sova, and it seemed like some of their hits just fell apart when they started to get pinged. They probably won't have to deal with that today, but I'm gonna say this, I don't think 100 Thieves should carry through their Sentinels comp that they had where Cryo was on the Jet. He was a bottom performer of that game. He's been struggling on it, and I don't like a solo Jet on Fracture to begin with. I think going into maybe Asuna's Raze, Asuna's Neon, he's very good at these other duelists.
We've seen that in the past as well. Last year, 2022, they were running both compositions with him on the Raze and on the Neon. I mean, you were obviously a part of the team when you guys were doing that, but there was a lot more variability, and I loved when they did switch him onto that duelist run.
Well, eagle-eyed viewers got a sneak peek at the KRÜ composition. I saw 3 of the picks over the shoulders locked in.
It was probably the same as what we saw last time with that Fade Raze, which really struggled. keznit was having a lot of trouble getting things going versus EG.
Yeah, might not be too many surprises on the side of KRÜ. The 3 that I did see were Breach, Fade, and Brimstone. The other 2 are still a mystery at this point. And then the whole of the 100 Thieves composition, right? But I definitely am curious how much 100 Thieves takes away from that KRÜ loss just last week on Fracture, right? And KRÜ has shown an incredible willingness to change things up and even return to maps. I know that this is the decider that we band our way towards, but KRÜ has shown a willingness to go back to maps that they've previously lost and have shown up in a big way. So that's something that shouldn't be ignored either.
Yeah.
They learn fast.
That's a great point, because something that I've noticed about KRÜ that I haven't noticed about 100 Thieves, they're not afraid to keep the same comp. They might have the same comp, but they will look very, very different. They are constantly evolving week to week, whereas 100 Thieves, when they keep the same comp, a lot of the same things you'll see over and over. And we have this Cryo on the Jet again. It's just how are they going to set him up? What are the hits going to look like? Is he dashing out of drop into top site A? Is he dashing off site B to the right when he comes out of tree? How are they going to utilize this Jet?
With the Raze, you get a lot of value from the nades. With the Neon, you get the stuns and space in. With this Jet, it has to be fixated on Cryo as an individual performing at a top level. He has struggled thus far. If there was a map for him to show up and beat expectations that he's earned thus far this season, it would be here.
Yeah, while we're holding down similar roles across all of the agents picked in, we do have 3 differences between each of the teams when it comes to the tools that they have to work with. Can KRÜ finally get into that win column? 1 map win is all it takes. Let's send it back over to our casters. Here's Brendan Sideshow for the call.
Thank you very much, guys. Yep, let's get to it. And this is a massive, massive final map that we find ourselves in here. For 100 Thieves, getting over that hurdle, trying to find that extra win in their column. And for KRÜ, trying to find their first one in the Americas split. It all gets decided right here, right now.
And I don't know how this map is going to end up. Neither of the teams have made compositional changes, and 100 Thieves have looked really lost on their attack sides of both of the maps that we've seen so far. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen here, but I'm seeing them start out on defense side Fracture, and I think this might be where they need to start racking up some rounds. And I am looking towards Cryo and Asuna, and I think those players, because you expect the Jet to be able to have big performances, and because Asuna just dropped an insane performance on Split. both of them playing over towards A halls to start this out, but that is not where KRÜ are trying to go whatsoever.
Let's see how this plays out. Too much attention to the north side there. That's a Trailblazer. Clears the way, gets rid of a trip. Aftershock as well as aggression. It's the name of the game, but it looks like KRÜ want to try and meet them pound for pound as well. The entirety of their team stun off to the side. After disengages ever so slightly, there's no threat of a push that's coming through. Nade over the top as well as that, a flash as well. It's not going to be broken in time, and this deep aggressive push is just being dismantled. Great answer by KRÜ.
That is a crazy good nade by keznit. It lands perfectly in the middle of all of the 100 Thieves players, cutting off their retreat, and only Cryo managed to get around it. Cryo split from the other two. Derrek and Asuna just left to die. Nothing they could do against horns, flashes, and the entirety of KRÜ barreling towards them. Now KRÜ, however, are still looking to end B. And Stellar and Bang, they're healthy, they're over here. This seems strange to me. They know that there's still a Killjoy. Surely they were set up on the other side.
Well, the players are weak enough, Josh, that it's going to be hard, I think, even still with that
30
massive
seconds
player
left.
advantage. Pushing through, Bang with 2, and guess what? Weak enough at the end of the day with the 1-2 punch. Good swing timing.
Placing sentry.
Left up to NagZ.
have retrieved
broken.
the spike.
Picks up the spike, but time is against him. 13 seconds with the tap of it. No easy shot found. Oh my goodness! Lovely attempt by NagZ, but eventually it was there. It was secured. So 100 Thieves with a pistol. It was a rocky beginning, Josh. Rocky.
Bang and Stella do an incredible job there, hitting some nasty good headshots with their classics, I think it was. But I just don't understand the move from KRÜ particularly. They knew that there was a 3-player push out A main. Are you telling me they really think that Killjoy was also A? They must have known that they were going into a difficult area of the map and just chose to do it due to its unpredictability. But that grants 100 Thieves their second pistol win of the series so far. And some early momentum.
Stun and a stimmy just to see what he can get done there towards B main. As well as that looking like they want to crunch this because of the Trailblazer, NagZ out in the open.
The fact that NagZ is positioned there tells me that I don't think they've watched too many 100 Thieves Fracture VODs. 100 Thieves on Fracture were running Southside crunches all the time in their previous game.
This is crazy though. I mean, look at KRÜ. Caterpillar all the way through. Looks like they wanted to try and go into spawn here. Do they still think that's the case? Okay, they were testing it for a better moment. There was a nade to push them back and a reclear into sand off the back of the flash, but they got to know now they're being chased, they're being corralled right into the corner. Taking a fight to it, keznit. He gets his one. Eventually done, and there you go. Okay, clean enough. 4 players surviving, so 100 Thieves have to carry a lot of these guns forwards now into that bonus round. Economy in a good space, good spot.
And like I said, 100 Thieves, one of the big themes the last time we saw them play on Fracture against Sentinels, they were crunching Southside repeatedly. It's a weird strategy. We don't see other teams really doing it that often. And we've seen Fnatic do it occasionally with big ults on board, but 100 Thieves were doing it over and over and over again. And it helped propel their defensive side to a reasonable level of success. Bang just decides to swing that one.
Early fight taken. No time wasted again. Except the Nano Swarm going to be stopping them, slowing them down. This time, NagZ's position is a little bit safer. Off to the corner, he doesn't take the rope. He hears all those players pushing him, yet takes the fight anyway.
Don't understand it, but it's more defensive aggression that works out beautifully for 100 Thieves. They've got themselves into a 4v4. They know that KRÜ have taken this area. Very obvious where they're going to be at, but that doesn't mean that you can necessarily beat them. I love this reflank by Melser, by the way. He's in the tunnel, coming up around and behind the 100 Thieves squad.
The attempt is there, fight to be taken towards it, and guess what? Oh my goodness, Asuna caught lacking.
It was like a horror movie.
It really was. He turned, there was nothing he could do, but KRÜ win it out, okay.
KRÜ with a nice reaction, and I think you think about the way that Fracture works. If 100 Thieves are going to be always aggressive on the defense side, no matter where they're pushing, I mean, south side, out through dish, whatever it is, KRÜ need to react quickly.
Yep.
That's actually one of the big strengths that we saw from them on their attack side of Split. They are decisive. They're gonna go, keznit, no fear, into a site. So 100 Thieves are probably going to be ended up playing a lot of retake situations if they come with that level of aggression still. And I think NagZ needs to get familiar with the ropes too, instead of challenging like he was. This is another round, very quick from KRÜ.
I'll play a little bit safer.
Launching smoke.
You can see it. It's explosive at the beginning, but not afraid to slow it down again.
The Trailblazer has indicated that they pushed out A main here. It caught a trip, so NagZ knows that they are pushing. What does KRÜ do?
I must wait a
Do they
moment.
go back and re-clear those players from spawn?
They are grouping up.
It looks like it.
Yeah. Minute 10 on the clock, so lots of time now, but making sure that there's discipline at play, at work. All the corners cleared. Melser's being left as well in that forward position. Prowler.
Oh, and they've just pushed Derrek back away now. So 100 Thieves don't have very good information. In A halls, they send another flash. Oh, and the
Sky flash.
Yeah, that's interesting. It actually didn't go deep into halls, but they still read that it's a B hit coming through. Can they get here in time?
Didn't tag anything, and still the Nano Swarm setup was there. Activated in time. It slowed it down with 30 seconds. Dash forwards. A flash on top of it. But right into the crossfire once more. Stella not wasting any time. He's already working around Asuna. He's still alive though.
1v2.
Could come down to that. Keznit's on 4 health. Low enough in that 1v2 that Asuna put into this position, but I love this reposition by Melser. He's taken up control of Arcade. Close to DaveeyS. There's too much to clear. How does it get done? And it's a off angle. Slide off angle. Bingo. Initial shot being missed there, but Melser, he salvages it.
I think Melser's playing these situations beautifully. The reflank through tunnel in the previous round, excellent. He actually holds tunnel once again for them that time, allowing them to get back over to B. And then he's always proactive in the post plan, getting into a nice spot. One of the big advantages of Brim. I think KRÜ's attack side calling looks significantly better than we've seen from them in the past. I've really liked what they've brought out. We didn't get to see too much of it on Ascent, but they're splitting so far on Fracture. I've been impressed with it.
Very reactive off the right elements. Never attempt here. Deep push. And always with a Trailblazer, there's a player accompanying it. When 100 Thieves do these deep pushes, of course, the knife's in the hands of Cryo. He was hunting, hoping that somebody's in his crosshair, in his sight line. There it is. Jumping wide. He still had the dash enabled, of course, to get out of there and evacuate. So, get that tag off. Prowler's going to be spotting it. Does Cryo want to try and take another fight here? One player spotted. Updraft just to dodge to the side there. Smoke in his face as well. Opportunities for KRÜ to make the most of it. And guess what? Klaus is just playing full-on aggression. Taking a fight to them. Beautiful fade on as well. That nightfall, I believe, catches on to at least 3 of the players. So,
and it also means that they can't hear the plant going down. So if 100 Thieves had wanted to try to commit the breach ult or the Brim ult to try and stop that, they're really lacking the info to do so.
The post-plan positioning of KRÜ is really quite good on top of that. Control of the arcade through A main as well. Close corner and tower.
Whoa.
Oh, committed by KRÜ. DaveeyS wants to take the fight.
That's also a massive win for 100 Thieves. Just getting that out is huge.
Dragging the ultimates out. Klaus is out close inside the smoke.
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
it's dangerous, but Asuna low enough. Noted with the positioning. And it's Klaus who's just going for the confidence peak.
I think DaveeyS is a bit early on the trigger there. This is round 5, an anti-eco for KRÜ in a 4v4 where their post-plan positioning is good. They controlled B main, they controlled arcade, they had good crossfires set up and still chose to invest the breach ultimate.
Yeah.
The reason that might have repercussions is because look at what 100 Thieves have got on board. I mean, they've got a lockdown that at the moment Melser doesn't have an answer for, though he probably will later on. But just the way that they can deny the plant from happening with Derrek and Bang's ultimates, it's going to be enormously favored towards 100 Thieves here, as long as they don't lose this initial fight that looks heavy at tree.
Stun off to the side, what a shot! Oh my goodness. He couldn't take the early line. The fault line pushed him out of that position. Brim ult into sand, possibly off the door, just openings, hoping that they could catch a player, but it does relieve that stress. Also Seekers right behind them. Even the Rolling Thunder, every ult's being committed here, including their own Brim ult. It's an orbital strike as well to push back aggression on aggression. No casualties on either side apart from the initial fight being taken, but they're together. Asuna wants to take the fight. Off to the side, 3 in the round. Racking them up.
And the aggression from 100 Thieves on their defensive side, paired with good ultimate usage, that orbital strike stopped them from taking sands. It pinned KRÜ into halls and allowed them to be crunched. everybody surrounded. And then 100 Thieves playing very tight with each other. Asuna able to trade, work off the flashes. It feels like when there is that level of aggression from 100 Thieves, actually it makes the timings easier for them to play around each other.
Yeah.
And maybe that's been the big thing that's lacking from Cryo sometimes, that makes their
30
attack
seconds
sides
left.
difficult.
Can't let us get too expensive, though, because you don't have money to burn.
No, they do not. That's already too many rifles taken away. And KRÜ's bankroll looks great here. There's, of course, no chance really for NagZ to win the round. He doesn't control the spike.
Couple of selfies with the cam, but no.
10 seconds left.
Just got to save here, but he's done his job. Taking 2 guns away is quite nice for KRÜ. Lose a round, but listen, in the long term, wonder what the 100 Thieves economy is going to be looking like.
Look at how well Asuna's playing around this, though. The second player there flashed just really, really tight up with Derrek. Trying not to stack on top of each other so that they don't get sprayed down, but tight enough so that they can get trades, control the aggression.
It's one of the core strengths that we were, singing the praises of 100 Thieves as well, heading into the Americas. It's always been that fundamentals playing off each other incredibly well that's sailed them through a lot of rounds, making sure that they were very disciplined. It's one of the things that they've kind of earned back as well towards the tail end of that split map.
Mark 1.
Nice stun. That's going to be pushing them back. Horde was dealt with on top of that, so reveal it for about a moment.
This is one of the first rounds where we're not seeing aggression coming out from 100 Thieves, but the deep Trailblazer still makes it feel like there's that aggression in halls. So Asuna's faking like he's taken tons of room and might be pushing into spawn. It's only him there.
That's that prior conditioning.
And there's the value. They're forced to go towards a different area of the map. They don't expect the jet to be there, and Cryo finds a pick.
Nice.
Flash to accompany that kill onto Melser. Playing off the util nicely. And KRÜ is left scrambling. 2 of their players left over towards the north side. They still have the spike in their hands, but what options do they really have? Because all of that positioning, look at this. Close corner for Bang. He's going to be making sure that this area is watched for. The only thing KRÜ can do is contact push through. They might have heard that drop, though. Could have been close enough for it, so...
But is there enough time, really?
30
here?
seconds left.
If they're trying to slow walk the entire way up, they're going to have to do it through a smoke. At this point, it's just a save.
The awareness of Bang is quite good here. Just dropping the smoke in their faces.
Yeah. So 100 Thieves are going to get another round here with Cryo finding that first kill. If you think back to Ascent and how much of a jet
10
diff there
seconds
was
left.
between Keznit's aggression and Cryo on defense, I mean, it was night and day, the difference between them. Here, map 3, that's the 3rd round in a row where Cryo's gotten the first kill, and every time it's been on to Keznit. So, sure, Keznit's not playing the jet here, but it's just the tides have turned massively.
Absolutely. Stella still with that lockdown as well. That's going to be a critical component to any sort of successful retake. Especially when Melser doesn't have that ult of his own. I mean, the orbital strike, you remember back in that round where just the entire kitchen sink of ultimates was being thrown by 100 Thieves. That was when KRÜ ended up using their own orbital strike to try and salvage the round. They don't have that big tool now to break that.
More aggression. Look at it. Over towards over towards tree. But it's just to get Cryo on a deep line.
Yeah.
Where's Bang going? All right. Feels confident enough to just pick up the ult orb.
So the smoke being watched there by the op angle. Rest of the team contacting. They through. Double satchel now, trying to squeeze them through into sand. So making sure nobody can really push them over towards that heaven angle. And there's the lockdown. What's the answer? Aftershock, but that's not going to kill it unless there's something else accompanying it. That's, okay. A bit missing. Stun connects. Time running down, running really low, and it's a flood attempt to this retake. 100 Thieves, there's a flank from drop now. It's Klaus who has to be that difference maker. Stops at the fuse. Can he get a second? He can indeed. Doesn't opt to survive. Wants to take the fight to them. Updraft, tagging them down. Pushing forwards in the smoke with the shorties in their hands. Angle watch. Nobody can stick this spike with the Molly just at their feet, but there is a bit more util to try and work through. Double fight taken. Bang. Great angle. It's offset enough that he can just beam down the players as they're wide swinging.
Definitely a different flavor now that Cryo has his operator online, right? There's less of the aggression coming through from 100 Thieves and more of them early round getting Cryo posted, but they're using the conditioning from earlier in the half so that Cryo's uncontested and can get onto deep lines. It's a very nicely thought out defensive half, and it makes me think about maybe 100 Thieves defense on Ascent would have been decent had they not been at such an enormous deficit. Is this just a team that is great on one half on every map?
We'll see. Poke onto the side there with a dash active. Cryo wants to try and take an early fight. That's the back away, but guess what? Their coverage is there once more. So Rolling Thunder doesn't get anything. Nobody playing deep onto the site here, so KRÜ just investing the resources to try and get onto the site with the alarm bot triggered. This is a good time for the nanoswarmers, but the spike is going to start to get planted here. But all this space once more taken. Just 8 up here. Asuna moving forwards. That's just a bit of spamming. I mean, where are these kills coming from? Seemingly nowhere. Derrek collecting onto 2, but it's a 2v4. Spike is down. A lot could happen, but that one Bang is managing all the angles. Aftershock into the corner. Melser, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Push back. And a very nice retake.
KRÜ have no way of dealing with 100 Thieves right now. The retake comes from every single direction. 2 players holding generator, holding canteen, making sure that KRÜ don't push there. Then a deep flank. All of this space taken by Derrek and Asuna here. And Derrek is looking great with it. The kill on DaveeyS is perfect to avoid any disaster happening. But that retake came through from everywhere. And also, that was keznit's 4th first death of the half.
He's not getting the same value.
Nowhere near.
He was firing on all cylinders. Listen, map 1, maybe a bit of map 2 as well. With the confidence, it was just running it down. His team had his back most circumstances, even if he went down, but you're starting to see it slip a little bit now with all these first deaths piling up.
Yeah, it's about limit testing. Like we said on map 1, keznit is going to try to push the limits. And to be honest, we've seen in their previous games that when keznit hits the limit, he just tries to bully his way through it anyway. He doesn't try to back off and give respect to his opponents. He's gonna just try to hard carry even harder.
Yeah.
And that, when a team has a good read on it, is a very poor approach. However, it does mean that he's just going to stomp teams that have a bad read on it. And that's where you get the dichotomy of keznit.
The hot or cold, sometimes overconfidence, paying the price. But 100 Thieves, this is a lead that they are accruing and plenty more opportunities at that. But that was what the timeout was for from KRÜ, just to try and put a stop to it. Probably won't be this round, though, because the guns are not looking too hot.
There.
A lot of ults that they're working their way towards, though, Josh.
Yeah, it's possible, but it comes down to whether KRÜ can actually find that first pick. Whoa, both players lit up. Asuna and Bang.
Flash with the horn, so nobody could break it. Look at that, all the way, just creeping, crawling up into tower. keznit's managed to work his way in here. There was an orbital strike that was used. Split up the site. Because it is separated, rocket to the side, but Cryo's got the dash, disengages, doesn't get anything. In fact, the shot did land.
Yeah, it was a leg shot.
Yeah, even out on the wall bang, but keznit dropped down to 5 health. And oh! Okay. Cryo has had enough of the doubters, had enough of the haters. This guy's looking unleashed right now. Molly at his feet, Aftershock on top of it, calling enough plant position, but DaveeyS cannot withstand it. But this flank attempt by NagZ, look at Bang. He's there to respond, shields up any gaps in the play, a wider swing, but it's perfectly timed with the canteen push. Watch for on the angle, and a shot managed and hit still.
100 Thieves find their 7th. KRÜ are going to have guns in the next round. KRÜ are going to have ults in the next round too. Derrek's death gives him the Rolling Thunder though. So 100 Thieves have tools with which to respond. And thus far, KRÜ have just not really been able to get their value. keznit falls once again. Cryo's 5th first kill of the map and the 4th one onto keznit. I mean, Cryo is everything right now in terms of these early duels.
Let's make some chaos.
Back in control, feels like he's in prime form currently. Shots he's been hitting.
And as the Trailblazer comes out, NagZ, he takes the rope, disappears. And what conditioning 100 Thieves have put forwards here, where the Trailblazer feels like there's somebody behind it every time.
Yeah.
But for the last, I mean, we can tell, for the last like 4 rounds, it's just been Asuna on his own.
But the threat remains just from that prior conditioning.
Cryo's been opping on top of the Killjoy utility this round just to give a different flavor to it. It's not optimal, but they're just trying to mess up the defensive systems as much as possible so that KRÜ don't have a read.
Face your
What that's done, though, is leave the B site open. So KRÜ, for the first time, might actually get in a good spot.
They want to fight this fast. It's a rolling thunder by 100 Thieves, trying to take the fight to them. The orbital strike. Where is the follow-up here?
keznit dies again first.
Completely out in the open. NagZ, maybe he can be the man of the hour. Maybe he can put a stop to this one. Holding that position down towards Arcade. It's got to be that extra element, but time is running low, and all that util has stopped them from scaling through into that main angle. They know it's been compromised. Bang is wondering where these players could be. Hopped up onto DaveeyS. Angles there. Yeah, well, okay. Was watched forward, assuming it was going to be swung from that angle. KRÜ barreling the way through. This time, it's brute force. At least that's what it feels like.
It was a great trade by Melser, though. Fantastic play from him again. And
Spotted.
the stun is good.
Yep, with a jump peak spotted out.
Player standing.
Left up to Cryo, operator in the retake. Not the most applicable tool for the job. Quick scope. Smoke down at his feet. Doesn't opt to pick up a rifle.
And the Seas tells him that he's gotten ahead of where they think he is.
Clearing carefully. Opportunities here for another kill. Creeping forward, Shorty out. He knows there's another one. Can't claim it. The pallet's just not landing. Almost grabbing a 3-piece.
Last round before the switch.
Respect for the vision there. 11 HP. KRÜ a little lucky to survive, but quite a well-played round by them, to be honest. Despite losing keznit early, NagZ does a great job to be able to grab all of that space and find the kill onto the player DaveeyS and give info for Melser to swing. If KRÜ can get another, it starts to look like a very reasonable half, despite the dominant game plan from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, 7-5 will not be hurting too much. Rapid, isn't it? 4 players barreling up towards drop. The alarm bot's broken, though, so...
And no blast packs for keznit here, so he's really lacking that ability to break crosshair placement and explosively get into the site. They're just trying to fake. You look at the positioning of NagZ, and it seems like this is supposed to be a B split. They're trying to pull Cryo's rotate, seeing if they get any information about a Trailblazer on the other side of the map.
He is so content to hold an aggressive angle in main, though. Stun. Actually catching onto a teammate there. Klaus couldn't really move forwards with it, but a lot of noise being made. Still a minute in the round, though.
Cryo doesn't need to rotate here because he can use his Blade Storm for the retake. He doesn't have to worry about having that operator. Is this... Wow, it's going to end up back on A. Have KRÜ overcooked it?
45 left. And setup is there with the Killjoy.
There's only the Killjoy on site.
They haven't broken it.
NagZ might easily die here to Cryo, though, unless he's very late. What a jiggle!
Knives out. Does he want to try and take the fight to him? Realizes he's being squeezed before players dropping down, and Asuna is here. Try and relieve some of that pressure. Spraying through. Shot lands. That's to the side. Does not matter.
Spike down
A smidge. It's Cryo. Making sure he can collect up all the remnants, any sort of players that were standing there. And NagZ with 15 seconds left, stunned up, Spike out in the open, no man's land.
10 seconds left.
The only choice here to try and run. The timing gets missed, but it matters not. Look at that. Cryo is looking like he is in prime form.
And it all comes down to them having a game plan where he understands his place within the system. Seriously, what a difference it makes. Seeing this team on the defense side of Split and Fracture, when they have these solid ideas about what they want to do and where people should be, the players' individual quality returns to what we expect from them.
Pieces really coming together here for 100 Thieves. That is going to do it for the first half of this one. Let's send it down to the desk to break it all down.
Thank you so much, Brent. 100 Thieves looking to steal this one away with an 8-4 opening half here on Fracture. I mean, in a number of ways, we are seeing what our concerns were for KRÜ being borne out But we're also seeing another element, another gear of 100 Thieves this team seems to have unlocked here in the final map.
Josh put it perfectly. When this team has a solid game plan, the players form around it so well. And to talk of the game plan, a lot of that was built around these like heavy south side fights. They were doing this in the last game versus Sentinels, focusing on getting that space, getting ult Torbs to retake this one. And on top of that, when they did go into these retakes, they often had the ults online. This is a different round though, where one of the moments where KRÜ managed to find some value themselves because they kept that game fairly close, considering that much better look from 100. To come out for this 100 Thieves squad, and that is such a big difference from what we've been seeing from them thus far. And now as we get ready for this attacking side as well, in the past, KRÜ has somewhat struggled with this keznit single duelist composition. Their retakes were really rough against CG.
Yeah, he's awoken from his cryogenic slumber to find those first kills all across the board, with just 20 seconds left to go before we dive into the second half. I think it's all going to come down to whether or not KRÜ can find a way to contain this absolute monster on the other side that seems to have been awoken here in our third and final map. Either way, it's do or die time for both of our squads as they look to climb our leaderboard. Back over to Bren and Sideshow to close it out.
Now, prime focus, all of our attention going to be placed onto this pistol round, isn't it? Round 13, so important. 100 Thieves have been scraping a couple of them together now as we enter the tail end of this series here, Josh. But it is important for them because it's the attack side where we've seen 100 Thieves struggle. They've got a sizable lead. It's about holding on to it.
Yeah, despite even winning split, their attack side did look a little clueless. And on Ascent, it was nothing short of abysmal. KRÜ the push down A-halls here. Aggression from both sides. As 100 Thieves work their way towards B, are these kill trips? It looks like it. Is NagZ gonna get an angle through the smoke? They found my wire. One broken.
Yeah, one still remaining though at DaveeyS. Plan's gonna start to go down. No util to stop this one, but this flank is gonna be so important towards B main. It's keznit, Nate to lead the charge. Cleans out the positioning here, and it does remove that one avenue to play the post plant from. Everybody grouped up now towards, but there is a reflanking tunnel. That's Derrek later. He's gonna be the backstab, extra element maybe to try and salvage this round if it does get messy, if it does get hairy, and it might just do that. 1-for-1 now. In terms of the kills, with Melser falling, util now starting to tap onto the spike. Klaus is sticking this one. There needs to be a kill. He's got half already, and this is dangerous. Still lining up Asuna. The smoke dissipates, and they do shut it down.
The post-plant idea from 100 Thieves is a lot better than what we've seen so far on their attack sides. It wasn't just Derrek that was going for that reflank, it was actually Bang as well. So they sent 2 players from Arcade underneath tunnel to get back control of stairs. And just that understanding of the important positions on B to fight for in the post-plant, that's the kind of thing that can net you wins. Just a team-level intelligence that we need to be fighting over these areas. These are the important spots.
I'm surprised the amount of teams that really do let that slip. They're trying to play Fracture. Here we go, re-clearance. It was util being used prior. Oh, goodness me! Cryo.
Spike down A.
Hey, a ton of damage. Dash to disengage there, but still. 100 Thieves who find themselves in a 4v5. Okay.
It's a lot of counter spam.
Yeah.
There's 4 players set up here. Stella may be able to find a pick. This smoke is going to go down at some point. Klaus is going to be left. Yeah, completely out in the open.
Close to the box. Oh my. Yeah, okay. Well, all the positions. Make sure to spam it out as the smoke drops down. Just expecting, they just know.
This is a comical round, really, because there's so many different threats in a lot of different angles, and 100 Thieves very diligent at clearing them all. Bang now only 2 away from getting his orbital strike online.
I mean, this is...
In round 14, he's going to get the plan.
Yeah, a showcase, I think, as well, that 100 Thieves are not flustered right now, Josh. If they're spending time in the mid-round there to farm orbs, before they even get the plant down,
Yep.
they're not worried about being pressured. They're not worried at all about losing around in that state. It's all about min-maxing, making sure that they can farm up those ultimates. That is the sign of a team that is firmly in control.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, sometimes that can be a case of running before you can walk, but actually what we've seen from 100 Thieves on this map leads me to think that they're pretty confident that this went to 3 here.
Out.
And now Bang is 1 away from that huge ultimate. And there is no lockdown on the other side, right? KRÜ are not playing a Killjoy, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He can use it for all sorts of offensive capabilities on the site.
Flash to push them back, and yeah, the orb is just being farmed up. So Bang now. Orbital strike. Got that one available.
And there's so many good places for it.
Yeah.
You can use it to clear tower. You can use it to stop a retake from coming through. You can use it, you know, on the common A anchor positions, towards generator. There's just... The world is your oyster with this ult if there's no lockdown on the other side.
Repush through A main for KRÜ. That's going to be spotted by the turret, I believe. So now Stella's aware of it, and look. Scampering away. KRÜ not willing to take that fight straight to them, and all that space that was gained as well on the other side. 100 Thieves.
Strange decision by KRÜ, though, because that means that they're all going to be retaking through spawn. I don't like that approach.
Never ideal. Got to be trying to threaten multiple angles when you are trying to play that retake. Oh, that utility, though. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a kill found. And with the rifle, keznit be trying to get back to that previous form that he showcased in map number 1.
Here.
And he has the ult online too, Showstopper.
Left.
Devastating if 100 Thieves tried to go for the plant again. But the stun, the nade, all comboed up. The spam as well.
This is quite precarious because you're down to 15 seconds left.
Blinded.
What's the call to be made? I'm gonna try and go for the win. Stun to cross through, but the spike has to be planted. Fight not won. Nade as well, re-earned from that prior kill. Spray through into Jenny. Not winnable now for Derrek. Just trying to do as much damage as possible, but he's spotted with the cam. Spammed out. And 4 for keznit. What a round to come online.
A very rough first half, and that will give more of the, you know, idea that he's doing the right stuff, that he's in the right place, he's got a good read on what 100 Thieves are going for. And with Bang, I believe, being the first death on the side of 100 Thieves, looking to try and get the plant down, despite the fact that he already had his ult up. That just took out all the sting. I mean, they were farming ult orbs all around the map for an ult that just disappeared instantly. This is still a big round for them. We'll see whether Bang has any ideas about what he wants to do this time. Very fast aggression. keznit on this angle where you can spot people deep in spawn looking to try and take halls.
I believe that Molly was probably going to be landing on the backside of tower, but as soon as that pressure was applied, it's a fight. 1 out, 100 Thieves, the victors. Player advantage found for them. Keeping the discipline tight when it comes to taking a lot of these fights.
And also Cryo finding that first pick. I mean, that just helps the situation enormously because the trade comes through, you go 2 for 1 instead of 1 for 2. They're now in a 4v3 scenario where KRÜ control very little of the map. They've got Cypher utility over towards A, so I kind of like the reposition from NagZ if it was going to go that way, but it just isn't. This is a massive fight at our
gun barrel sticking out, and Stella's not watching for it. Yeah, this was a big risk taken by KRÜ. Oh my! What a strike! Close to the corner, that is quite perfect. Couldn't tuck himself close to the corner. He was taking even more damage. Stun now. Gotta know that DaveeyS is around this area. Surely. Flash. Re-peek jump spot as well. Doesn't see him, but he is dealt with. And NagZ, final line of defense. Not for much longer. Going to be forced to play that retake. Lone player standing, but guess what? Bang. Ready to respond.
Good trade. Threat neutralized. And KRÜ are playing still quite proactively on their defense side. We saw pushes happening all over the place, but 100 Thieves are reading it. For example, the aggression coming out from tree there, that means that you need to re-clear that by pushing under tunnel. And that's exactly what 100 Thieves do. They win out that scenario. NagZ is flanking through dish. They're aware that it's a possibility, and they deal with it. It all looks drilled at the moment from 100 Thieves. They're 2 rounds away from being able to win this series. But remember that this is a must-win game for both teams if they want any chance of being able to make it to playoffs. And looking at 100 Thieves' strength of schedule coming up, not only do they need this win, guaranteed against KRÜ, they also need to upset one of the top 4 teams in Americas. Things do not get any easier. And if you're a 100 Thieves fan or hopeful, you would have been wanting them to crush this game. And the first 2 maps have not been like that at all.
Back and forth, but listen, playing to the strength of the map pool for KRÜ as well, I will say.
Absolutely.
And 100 split being picked.
100 Thieves demonstrating some serious improvements on their defense side split and overall on Fracture.
That's where the difference is manifested. 11-5. Lead still gained and held for 100 Thieves in 2 rounds. That's what separates them from closing out this series. Creeping up to the standings as well. An opportunity looking forward to playoffs. Still approaching that middle section as we're in this super week in week 4. But KRÜ as well are going to be thinking, man, we'll try and come back into this some way, some form, because this is going to be one of your easier matches that you've got coming up as well for this team.
They're not out of it just yet. It is a massive deficit, obviously.
And this is really patient, isn't it? Oh, the peek with the dog.
The crosshair placement just marvelous there.
Yeah. Oh, I was so aware. Horn pots him out. Standing the ground though, but this is NagZ.
I've got your
Attempts
trail.
made. Seeker's going to be used as well. Push forwards. Bang's just happy to swing. Happy to take the fight. And Melser misses the shot. He tried to follow up at least to try and take down Bang, but can't quite manage it. And now he's being squeezed from every possible angle. He can hear them running this way, that way. Stella will fall though. Any more opportunities for a fight to be taken? Not quite spammed out. Klaus! Klaus!
Last player
3
standing.
for it. He
Spike
might have just
down,
salvaged
B.
it. Lift it to that one-on-one.
DaveeyS with a flash. He can just wait for the plant.
Spike's not picked up.
Here's the footsteps. Here's the guiding light. This all gives
I got the
DaveeyS
spike.
info. Is he really going to try and swing that? He did.
30 seconds
DaveeyS
left.
was looking to try and cut Asuna off before he could get to sight. And now with 25 seconds, Asuna has no idea where this player is.
He does not know.
No idea.
Dave's in this position right now. He's thinking, has he ran all the way to A? But now that guiding light popped off. He didn't hear it. Too far away. So he's none the wiser.
Is Asuna really going to be able to get this plant off?
There's no
10
way.
seconds left.
I think the flash ended up potentially baiting DaveeyS into actually pushing over towards A, but now it's given that free plant off Asuna in position.
And now the table's turned, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, DaveeyS now does not really understand where Asuna could have repositioned to. Could be arcade, could be back in B main.
And they could be anywhere. A lot of util.
Might just be tucked on sight.
DaveeyS wants to keep his gun out in this scenario. He doesn't want to be caught with any of that utility out in his hands. He could have been using it to clear these corners, but instead just contacting all the way up, and he's tapped it. Spike's there. Flash round, that was deep towards tower, and he heard the fire as well. So he knows that DaveeyS wasn't sticking this one now, but he has to. This is the percentage play. Half on it, sticking it all the way through, and the timing is just there. Asuna. Game sense. Masterful placement with his positioning, and that is going to be earned. 100 Thieves now 1 step away from closing out the series.
It's a crazy good play by Klaus, but my word, Asuna plays the clutch beautifully after he gets the plant down. And those kind of rounds, the KRÜ needs those to mount any kind of comeback here. And instead, 100 Thieves, their excellence on show. Asuna, after an insane performance on Split, looking to win this out. Keznit with so much aggression.
And this is risky. He's forced to make the plays. Flash to accompany 2 players for KRÜ. Are left scrambling. What answers can they find? Seems like little. It was a return of fire. The money's not good. I mean, look at what NagZ is working with. Trailblazer, that's a stun. It's caught him. Flash as well, has to turn it. 1 player left standing, and it's NagZ.
You should run.
It's all but over. The lockdown, pushing them back. NagZ, what can he even do here? A wide swing from confidence. That's Stella to close. And 100 Thieves in a dominant fashion for map number 3. A well-earned